Hello everyone, how are we? I hope you're all looking forward to tonight's discussions. I know I am. I actually have quite a few things to talk about today, so... And of course, if you're in here, be sure to like the stream. We got 3 likes. We had 6 viewers. Let's try and get it up to 6 likes. So, I'm gonna talk a little bit of, I guess, about some other stuff first, and then we'll talk about some Toriko for a bit, and then we'll talk about some other stuff. I have a few things to talk about, as the title implies. I started One Piece. Jujutsu Kaisen's coming back, and I actually want to talk about some Bleach stuff. Audio's stream current bitrate is lower than the recommended bitrate. The fuck is this? Are we getting any issues here? People in the chat? Hello, Aspen. Griever will be here in 5 minutes. Fantastic. So how are you guys doing? How was your weekend? You have a good time? I'm quite excited. I'm going to be going on vacation. I'm going to see some family that I haven't seen in a couple years. Didn't get to see them last year because of COVID, so pretty nice. How far in One Piece am I? I am on Chapter 12. I'm literally right at the start of Chapter 12. Yeah, like when I say I've started One Piece, like I've started One Piece. Is this how have they changed the notification thing now? It's not yellow and obnoxious anymore, it's just the same color as the rest of Studio. They accepted you into the school you wanted to be in, Bulgarian man. That's fantastic. I'm very happy for you. What are you going to be studying? Just gonna ask what are my thoughts on One Piece so far. I will get into that when I talk about One Piece. I'm not very far, so I don't think I can have a particularly comprehensive opinion on it, but I have one. I have a opinion on what I've read thus far. Let's have a look through here. This is hilarious. So Kochi's watching the Chimera Ant arc on Netflix, right? Or maybe not Netflix. I don't know what he's watching on. It's not on Netflix yet, actually. It will be in a few weeks, but he's watching the Chimera Ant arc. And because he's watching it on like his TV, instead of posting screenshots, he's just fucking taking pictures of his television. Koji. You're getting into a German school? Fascinating. Or you're gonna be studying German. That's pretty interesting. What do you plan on doing with that? 6 viewers and only 4 likes. Let's pump that shit up to 6 likes, shall we? Tell me, when does it, most of the time, I try usually to schedule streams a few hours in advance. Oh, there we go. Now there's the error. I try to schedule streams like a couple hours ahead of time so people know about them. But when I go onto my YouTube channel, I don't see the stream on there. So do you guys get notifications when a stream has been scheduled? Do you see it in your subscriptions? I know for people that are on the server, they see it in the upload channel, but I don't know what happens for you guys. Because from my perspective, there's no way to know what's going on until the stream started. Which is very strange. Like, for other people, when I look at Griever's channel, and he's got a stream planned, I can see it. Hello, Tenryu.
Yo, what's up?
Not much. I'm just gonna ping Band and let them know we're gonna be talking about Toriko for at least the first hour.
Yeah, we need to wait until Griever gets here for that.
Yeah, of course, of course. I actually fell back into some Bleach stuff today. I think I got recommended... I think I got recommended the Pernida fight, the MMV for that. So I watched that this afternoon and I was like, fuck, I forgot how amazing that fight is.
I guess it was decent because it was actually like a real fight. He actually had to figure out how to deal with Pernida's evolution and strategies.
Well, what do you think is the best fight from the final arc?
Like, wait, from like the final arc in its entirety?
Yeah, or maybe just like the last, you know, when they go up to the Soul Palace. What do you think's the best fight?
Either that or the Askin fight.
Ah.
Because the thing is that the Askin fight also was kind of, you know, his ability wasn't so overpowered that I was kind of annoyed. It helped that Urahara's ability was pretty actually a good counter to Askin's ability. And I actually liked Askin a lot as a character, so that helped a lot.
Very entertaining.
Yeah, he's like the most entertaining Quincy the entire last arc because he actually had a personality and he actually felt like a Quincy because he uses bows and arrows and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think either the Pernida fight or Askin, I think either of those two are the best fights.
Griever, what's the best fight from 1000 Year Blood War?
Neither one of those.
Damn. Okay, which one is it?
Honestly, if I were to choose a favorite fight just right off the hand, remember guys, Kisuke Urahara is my favorite character, and I like Askin. However, that fight, because it was so rushed and all that shit, honestly, this is going to be a controversial thing, but I love seeing the team of captains team up on Gerard.
That one's pretty fun.
I like that because it just went boom, boom. We had Bankai, 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 Bankai. Like Toshiro, even though we had seen his Bankai, he was one of the earliest Bankais, but we saw him go full adult form. A lot of people were waiting for that. Then Kenpachi does his thing and stuff. There was a lot of hype built around that fight. And honestly, I would argue that the Mayura Koitsuchi fight with Pernida was that's honestly, with the whole Nemu backstory and stuff, he finally beat both Aizen and Kisuke. It was a nice, as far as 1000 Year Blood War, maybe as a fight, it's not the best fight, but as with the baggage behind it, I think it was the most emotional driven fight. So
it was probably one of the most entertaining just because you had Mayuri. And Mayuri's pretty great.
Absolutely, and we found out about the whole Nemu thing, so yeah. I mean, and that finally came full circle, and that was well handled, even though Kubo, he wasn't rushed at that point, but I love that he took the time. You could tell where things were sped up.
Right.
You could really tell, you know.
Yeah, let's not get into that. Let's just get into like the specifics of the
Let's talk about a different rushed final arc, Toriko.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go. Let's fucking go.
So we're going to be talking about Toriko now, everyone, because I finished Toriko the other day, and I have to talk about it. So for starters, Toriko, definitely in my top 5. I don't know where in my top 5.
But it's there.
It's there. It's somewhere in there. Through sheer hype, it did a fucking pull-up. It lifted itself into my top 5 through sheer hype alone. Very impressive.
Aren't you glad you listen to us sometimes,
man?
Yes,
I am. Well, I think it was some of the insane, stupid hype shit that Tenryu mentioned. How long ago was that? I think it was in like a Shumatsu reaction stream back in November.
It was either then or also we were also hyping it up in my Discord over a year ago, I believe. Tenryu, did we not hype that up in my Discord?
Yeah, it was in like a stream called The Psychology of a Manga Reader. It's on Griever's channel.
That was in October last year, because I think it was Griever. It was
there
you go.
Thanksgiving. It was Canada Thanksgiving. I guess you had
Yes,
your own
yes,
equivalent to that.
that's
And that was
it,
the
that's
first
right.
time I appeared on one of your streams, or in any stream at all, as a matter of fact.
Oh
So,
wow,
yeah.
wow. So that was
That-
a momentous nice time.
Really that's the stream where I mentioned the Heracles feat, where he created a footprint from 2 millennia ago, and he could Reiatsu crush people with it. He doesn't even need to be there with the characters. He can just crush them with just the footprint. Like, that's what I was talking about, and you find out what I meant.
That was so. I knew like, as soon as we got into the gourmet world, I had a feeling. Like, I never forgot you mentioning that, because I'm like, that's pretty dumb hype. That's pretty absurd hype.
When I read that chapter, I was just fucking insane. Like, I can't believe I'm reading something like this. How does he come up with this stuff? And they can
don't understand how the fuck he came up with that shit.
You know what?
That's so
what he did?
fucking ridiculous.
You know what? I'm gonna answer that right now. What he did, because you know what's funny? Nobody realizes what he did realistically, because people go, Food Wars is crazy. And don't get me wrong, I love Food Wars. I really do. Other than the last arc, I really love Food Wars. And they think that's like over the top Iron Chef, Gordon Ramsay shit, right? But it's like, what he did was he said, all right, this is going to be about food and ingredients and cooking. And I'm just going to dial that shit up to 11 the entire fucking time.
There
And
are
that's all he
two
did.
types of cooking anime.
Like, and then he follows it up by saying, he was pissed off, and that's why the earth, it didn't grow a single blade of grass, because the earth is trembling in fear. If he was happy, he could have created a lake or a garden where other beasts would have gathered in that footprint, and they would have celebrated and thrown a party in there. And I'm like, Mitsutoshi's doing such a great job of displaying these guys as like genuine forces of nature. Like, Godzilla doesn't have anything on these guys. These are real.
He doesn't.
Listen, the most unfortunate thing from the final arc being rushed is not seeing the other ingredients. It's not seeing all the rest of the other 8 kings do stuff. Because, like,
Well,
the
not even
Oberus
that, not
dragon
even that.
just shows up. It just
Yes.
shows up with, like, not really much in the way of well, like, they mentioned it a while ago, but, like, most of the other 8 kings got, like, some amount of hype prior,
Yeah.
but the Oberus just shows up
You
when
can
they're going to get
tell
centered.
you can tell when the series got canceled, just like with Bleach. You can see the chapter because you can see the pacing change. Because King of Lightning brought this up multiple times, Miss, where he was like, I want to see the other biotopes. I want to see like Area 5 and Area 3 and Area 2. Like, I want them to explore it. Like, I understand, like, the split off thing was planned, like splitting off in different teams.
Yeah.
We don't have time. That made sense. But we were supposed to follow Zebra and Brunch for a while. We were supposed to follow Sunny and Library. We were supposed to follow these guys. And it's like, we never did. So not only did we rush, which one of the big things that we discussed last time was the world building in Toriko is S-tier world building. They had to skip and pan all that.
Very
Just,
unfortunate.
you know.
By the way,
Yeah,
guys, no Kanye,
this is
there
something
are
that-
not 2 types of food anime, Food Wars and everything else. There's 2 types of food anime, Food Wars and Toriko. Those are the 2 different types of food anime.
Yeah.
One is just a regular cooking manga, which can be good, and the other one is just a straight up battle manga.
With
That's the main difference.
fucking
Well, I would
ridiculous
no, because
absurd amounts of hype.
I've read 5 cooking mangas, so I would say that Shokugeki no Soma, or Food Wars, is not just a food manga or just a cooking manga, because that's over the top hype and shit too. It's just not on the same level. It's not a battle shonen. It's a different type of battle, because you have the Shokugeki, which is the war in the kitchen. It's like Komatsu versus Brunch in a cooking battle. Sanji versus X in a cooking battle, in One Piece. That's the point of that. So what we're seeing is the dudes who go and kill the cow to feed the cook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Except
so
the
it's a
cow
different-
is like the size of a mountain.
Yeah, exactly. They're the size of a mountain. Yeah. Well, I will say that.
Always mentions.
What's that?
By the
Samir?
way, guys, 10 viewers, 11 viewers, and only 5 likes. We gotta pump those fucking numbers up. Let's get it up to 11 likes.
And I'm seeing a dislike by somebody. That's so sad.
Really?
Yeah. Who the
That's
fuck
a
dislikes
first.
Toriko?
Who dislikes my stream?
Or maybe he just likes the fact that Misc is starting One Piece. Maybe he hates
Maybe
One
they
Piece.
hate One Piece. I don't know. I
Maybe,
did tell you guys
maybe.
we were going into Toriko spoilers, so don't be mad about that. Listen, I talk about spoilers like 99% of the time. If I'm talking about a series on here, I'm gonna talk fucking spoilers.
Yeah.
The only person I warned ahead of time was Band, because Band just started Toriko.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, and just so the chat knows, Misc is also very good on people that are in his VC, because I've been on streams before and he's like, hey, we're talking about something, maybe we should, like, can you mute yourself for 10 minutes, whatever, or, you know, like, he definitely, like, Misc does that for us, but it's on you guys that's in the stream there. He
Wait,
finished
really?
Toriko, we're talking Toriko.
I think this may
So-
be the first dislike I've ever gotten on a stream. Fascinating. Let's have a
Wow.
look-see here.
Oh.
This might be the
Like-
first.
I literally.
Wow, for real. I can't believe it. Nice. This is
Can
this
we-
is the farewell gift. This is to send me off before I go on vacation.
There you go. But before I forget this, though, because I imagine you haven't seen, even though you finished Toriko, because you speed blitzed the greatness.
Indeed.
Did you you haven't seen King of Lightning reaction yet, correct?
I have watched a couple. I think
Okay.
one of the ones I remember like really watching. I think there are two, because sometimes he does reactions to chapters and there's not really anything super crazy. I
Yeah.
think there was the one where the end of the Human World arc, where they're going through the Gourmet World, showing how fucking stupid the capture
Yeah.
levels get with the things there. Because that's like one of the biggest hype chapters in the series, because it just keeps
Yep.
getting higher and higher and higher.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one was when Jiro goes all out.
Oh, and that's also because he loved Jiro. Jiro was one of his favorite characters.
Jiro, I don't think Jiro's the best character, but by God, is he probably the most entertaining character in
He's
Toriko.
so entertaining. But I just wanted to ask you, because I've told you this before, when we were introduced to Heracles, I think somebody brought up who's your favorite of the 8 kings, and it's a toss-up for me, but honestly, like, the way King of Lightning says the Monkey King's name, it just always resonated, because I was watching his reactions when they were coming out, and the way he says it, and the only way you can ever say the Monkey King's name is Bambina. You have to add the big deep tone, Bambina.
I love what he
Bambina.
said about Whale King Moon. He said, I can't wait until he shows off his power. I'm gonna shit my pants and I'm gonna walk around with that bronze stain in my pants with pride. That's literally something he said once. And I'm like,
You know
yep.
what? I can definitely see him saying that.
Oh yeah, he says shit like that all the time, and you know what? That's
Yeah.
why King of Lightning is entertaining, man.
That
he
is why
brings
he's
the hype.
so entertaining, because he says stupid shit like that in like every
Exactly.
video.
I
That's something I
love.
want to do.
Oh,
It's his
who's-
deep voice, though.
Who's
His
my
voice does it.
favorite of the 8 kings?
Something
Now
I want to
here's the
say is
issue. Here's the issue: is we really only get to see which ones do we get fleshed out?
We get Guinness. We get
Guinness, Bambina,
Heracles, and Bambina. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
the-
Moon exists, but we don't see him. Very unfortunate.
No.
Very unfortunate.
Sky Deer.
Sky
Emperor
Deer is
Crow.
cool. That fucking, oh my god. I think Tenryu, were you the one that said he makes Baragon look like a bitch?
Yeah,
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 because he
Baragon
does.
is fucking garbage compared to this thing.
Oh.
The Sky Deer, like, we were talking about the strongest. Remember last stream we were talking about, like, Ichiru, like, he can beat Gojo, he can beat this, he can beat that.
I don't
we
know.
were like,
Okay,
yeah,
so here's
well,
the thing now. I'm not sure Ichiryu is like the top of the verse guy. At least definitely not among humans. Fuck no.
Okay. Oh well, I'll tell you why, because this is why I brought it up to you, Misc. Is that, remember, this is the dude who beat.
He had potential to be the strongest. Like,
No.
unquestionably.
Well, okay, the potential, but the fact of the matter is, he beat Jiro.
Yeah.
He beat Midora, and then Acacia, which we find out now that you've finished the series, literally basically brought him aside before he decided to go on this path of basically I'm gonna be the bad guy to save the world sort of thing that he was doing. He was like, I'm gonna tell you my plan, and you are the only one. You can end me right now. You can defeat Neo, but I can't do it. So you have a choice, and Ichiro couldn't do it. But the fact of the matter is that this is a man who's considered top of the verse, was top of the verse, and never ate good food. Never ate a single gourmet.
He didn't eat like stupid, like the insane food. But
the human world stuff doesn't count. He never even Froze's cooking. He only ate like the bare minimum. He never ate to his fill. And even Don Slime was kind of like Jesus Christ. And he never even used his gourmet. How many times throughout the series everybody activates their gourmet gear?
Okay, I guess in theory, Ichiryu is the strongest character.
He literally had the King of the Red Universe as his fucking gourmet demon, and even that's why Don Slime gets so pissed. He goes, he never used my cells, not fucking once, and you dare call him weak? I'm master of the fucking universe, and he didn't even use my power, ever, not once. And I mean, the entire series, we see the four kings, we see everybody using their gourmet cells.
Yeah.
He's the only one. Him and Jiro are the only two who never use their gourmet.
Oh, right, yeah, Jiro doesn't even fucking have gourmet. Oh my fucking god. Tepe is the one does Jiro not have a gourmet demon, or does he not have gourmet cells?
No, he does, but he got them, he gained them from eating the nitro for so long, so his gourmet demon is like, he doesn't actually, it's left ambiguous, but the idea is that his gourmet demon never manifested because he ate so many pure gourmet cells.
Yeah, Tepe is the one that inherited the green cells because it was stated that it skipped a generation, and then they went to Tepe because he has green hair and a green gourmet demon.
Yeah, and he ate both red and blue nitro. That's the thing. He ate both. God. So
like,
fuck! I think. Oh shit! Jiro's death is probably one of the first times in a while where a character dying pissed me off. Like, there are two types of character deaths for me. Well, mostly two types of character deaths. One's where I'm like, damn, that really sucks, and one where I'm like, damn, that's fucking bullshit. That's fucked up. And Jiro's was the second one. I was fucking pissed.
Yeah, because
that was so disrespectful.
Jiro could have probably killed Acacia. That's the thing. Like, all three of the disciples have the potential to beat Neo as far as I'm concerned, because Midora can copy everything. That's broken as fuck.
Yeah,
Midora did fight Acacia once he ate Neo, so hey, there's the potential.
And we know that Don Slime actually defeated Neo back in the day. Back in the day. So and we're saying on top. And remember, when he first got to Earth, remember that he was fighting Neo, not even at full power. He goes, my punch sucks. I used to be able to blow up a planet or two with one punch.
Yeah.
So the fact of the matter is just like, this isn't Ichiru's body, you know, like it wasn't good enough for him. Like, I would argue it's not even half power, because he said one punch blows up 2 planets. He didn't even fucking make a crater in the, like, circumference of the Earth.
So he blew up the moon or an asteroid by jumping up. Okay, so did he jump off the moon, but then God eats the moon like 10 minutes later?
It's very confusing.
It is.
I think they just forgot that Don Slime blew up the moon.
I mean, they could have just said that
he did it.
They could have just said there's multiple moons in Toriko, but it's not One Piece. So, it's just apparently an asteroid or something, because we later see that God ate the moon. Literally, his tongue stretched all the way to the moon, and he just ate it in like an instant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fucked up. That was fucked up the way Jiro got killed.
Yeah. No, and it made sense.
But it was fucked up.
Yeah, like, because the reason it made sense, because Acacia was the one to basically put as they say, put technique into the beast.
Yeah.
So he's a Naki master because Acacia taught him everything.
Right.
So, but the thing is that Jiro was so stupid, and I love that moment. I love that moment when he's remembering, like, Guinness still remembers raising Jiro.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Koji. mute the stream if you ever plan on reading Toriko.
Yeah.
I know, you're busy watching Hunter x Hunter, so just fucking mute the stream right now.
Yeah, totally.
Tenryu, he's
Because
watching Chimera Ant. I have no idea what he knows about it already, but he's watching a peak shonen arc right now, so we have to let him pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But there's just so much in that final arc. Like, as I said, we can argue that, okay, the 8 Kings were rushed because, once again, cancellation, and also the areas, which world building was part of, the adventure was part of Toriko. But as far as a final battle and getting all the major, like, players involved, honestly, done far better than Naruto, done far better than Bleach, done far better than Fairy Tail, like, done very, very well as far as a final battle, because it all added up, it all made sense, and they kept to the original plot. They didn't pull any bullshit. They were just like, this is the way the thing is. We know that Toriko and Starjun are brothers now, and they're Frose's children, so that explains the White Demon, and why Acacia would fucking fear the shit out of that.
My general thoughts on the last arc are like that. The hype is an all-time high. In terms of narrative, it wasn't really fleshed out. The only things that would have really...
Koji's already read Toriko. We're good.
Yeah, in terms of narrative, the only things that would have really explained better are... Okay, I would have removed the whole lineage factor with Toriko because I don't think he really needed to be the son of Acacia and Frose.
Yeah, that felt like it kind of came out of nowhere. That was mildly unnecessary.
Especially because it doesn't really do anything for Toriko as a character. He never was interested in finding out who his parents were. It's not like in Star Wars.
No.
It's not like in... No. Don't interrupt me.
Uh-oh,
in Star Wars, you really know that Luke, part of his character arc was finding out who his father was. And therefore, they do something with it. But when it comes to Toriko, I'm like, yeah, but he never really cared. Ichiro was his father all along, basically. And I would explain why he had multiple demons. Because, for example, we can say that, Acacia and Frose are his parents. That's why he has 3 demons. But Sargent is his brother. He doesn't have 3 demons. So I would have explained that better because the idea could have been executed a lot better, especially when I like the fact that Toriko was always portrayed to be on the same level as his brothers, right? And then they just say, he has 2 more demons than the rest of the 4 Heavenly Kings. And I'm like, I like the fact that Toriko wasn't too overpowered compared to them.
Listen,
so that's
you think your shonen protagonist is special because he's got one otherworldly entity living inside of him? No. Toriko doesn't just have 1. He doesn't just have 2. He has 3, and the third one just kind of shows up in like the last 30 or 40 chapters for some reason.
I mean, he was well foreshadowed.
The second one also just kind of shows up during the Heracles fight. I don't remember really getting
much
allusion
the
to that
white
before.
the White Demon was foreshadowed.
Okay,
yeah,
when was that foreshadowed? I know they foreshadowed him before he just showed up and was like, "What's up, Neo? Get the fuck out of here." But it wasn't that long before, if I remember correctly.
When they went to the kitchen, in the Blue Grill, Komatsu looked and saw all the gourmet demons, and he saw the blue Oni and the red Oni sitting beside another guy with his back turned.
And there was a flashback where Ichiro said, hey, that kid looks like he's going to have a demon bursting out of him, and not just one. And that's like, so he has more than 1 demon. And that explains the blue one. That was actually in a flashback before the air arc. Ichiro said that.
Okay. Yeah, I had just totally forgotten that. Alright, so they set it up ahead of time. Alright, that's fine.
His demons were foreshadowed. I just wanted a better reason for him to have them because I'm sick and tired of shonen protagonists being too overpowered compared to like their teammates. Toriko, for the most of the series, he was on par with the other Heavenly Kings, and I love that. I love the fact that Toriko isn't too overpowered, and then it's like, he really is.
Yeah, I wish the other 3 were also more relevant during that final battle. I wish they got more of a hand in it.
I think but that's also a problem with, once again, when you're rushed and you need to end a series.
That's fair. Yeah.
You're gonna have you're gonna have those problems. I believe that his original idea was to probably have the 4 Heavenly Kings do a final battle together as team, but it didn't. It ended up not happening. And that's fine that it did not happen. But it's just the way that it went.
Oh,
And
Band,
why?
why are you in here? We're not done.
There he goes. There he goes. But yeah, like, so I have no problem with that. The reason I have no problem with the Froze thing is because Starjun was set up to be looking for an ingredient his entire life. He found out that it was because he was a twin. He was looking for his brother, sort of idea, right? I like that concept because we've seen the power of what food means to people in so many ways in Toriko leading up to that point, that he calls it an ingredient, but it's a goal. And when you want to like translate it properly, you know what I mean? So I never had a problem with Starjun and Toriko being brothers. I didn't mind the fact that it was Froze's children because the only one in the verse to have white cells was Froze. So it only made sense that a white demon would appear in one of her two children. Now, we don't actually know. Starjun's demon potentially is a white cell demon. We don't know for certain if it's a red cell demon, if it's a blue cell demon. We don't know, or green cell demon for God's sakes. We don't know exactly what the cells of Starjun's gourmet demon is. So
they seem to be blue. Judging by the anime, because the anime is pretty accurate when it comes to the color schemes of the manga, so I think Starjun's was blue.
Okay, so Starjun's is blue. That's fine, dandy, and clearly quite powerful and stuff. So that all makes sense. And also remember that what Starjun said about Toriko, him giving his brother the nutrients at the time in the womb, the 500 years, all that stuff. Like, it's sort of like, okay, this is starting to make sense that like literally to keep his brother alive, he sort of was like helping his brother not kick the bucket sort of idea. They talked about that in the manga, and it was sort of like, okay, so Starjun, that's why he's got the scar and all that shit on his face and stuff like that, because he was constantly supplying nutrients to the weaker of the two brothers, which was Toriko. It makes sense that the white demon would go to the one that both, so, and Froze was the only one with white cells. Neo had black cells. Black cells didn't get passed down because of Froze's white cells. So it just sort of, I don't know, to me it made sense. Like, it might have seemingly come out of nowhere as a plot point. Probably would have been done better had the series gone on for 450 odd chapters, which is what was intended, but whatever.
Okay, maybe I was just like really bad at reading. I probably was, because I was reading kind of fast by the time I was getting to like the later parts of the final arc. But I don't know if it was just me, but it seemed like Acacia's personality and motivations changed multiple times. I understand that was mostly due to Neo fuckery, but for me it felt like, oh wait, Acacia's actually an asshole. Oh wait, no he's not. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that aspect of the story was really confusingly told, because I've read like the last arc twice already, and I'm like, wait, I still don't get, okay, what exactly is Acacia's own convictions and personality, and what it's actually influenced by Neo? For example, he had this whole thing about, oh, I've discovered every dish on the planet Earth. There's nothing left for me to discover. And then it's like, okay, but does that play a factor into his psyche or his motivations? Or is he really just trying to stop Neo at all costs and nothing else really matters? That's the part where I'm like, okay, it could have been better explained, I guess. Like,
yeah,
I get
like
the motivation that he wants to stop Neo. I get that. That's perfectly sensical. But in regards to like everything else and him wanting to die and everything, it's like, I don't get it. Did he really want to go to the furthest land, or did he want to be killed by Ichiryu so that Neo could be stopped, or it would take longer for him to revive and then wreak havoc on the world again? That's what I mean.
Yeah, like when Acacia revives as Neo, I guess, like being taken over by Neo, and it turns out, oh, he's an asshole. I'm like, cool, don't meet your heroes trope. That's fine. I generally like that trope. It's usually frustrating, but then what comes after it's usually good for character development and stuff. So I was totally fine with Acacia being an asshole, but then after they beat him, it's just, oh, I was actually trying to fucking save the world from Neo or something. I don't know.
Oh, and Neo gets an unearned redemption. I feel like
for some reason.
Neo did not earn his redemption. He caused so much suffering for billions of years, and you mean to tell me that, oh, he was a pure appetite, He just needed like love or something. I know that Komatsu foreshadowed that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Komatsu foreshadowed it, but even then, what's his name was like, "Were you guys listening to the story I just told you?"
And I'm sorry, there was a person that tried to justify it by saying, well, animals can be sadistic when it comes to hunting their prey. And I'm like, no, because Neo is more intelligent than an animal. He knows that what he's doing is wrong.
like Neo is actively malicious.
Exactly. He didn't earn his redemption. I don't mind the idea of redemption because Midora got it. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But Neo, I'm like, sorry, you lost me there.
But also one of
the dislike is gone. Fantastic. I assume someone misclicked.
Not that I actually don't agree with that statement, but or what you guys are saying about Neo's redemption. But the problem is that you have to remember is that Neo went out of his way to do that because he thought, and we see that throughout the entirety of Neo's character, is that he believes food tastes the most delicious at the point, sort of like Zebra. Remember Zebra also felt the same way? Actually, Neo and Zebra are actually quite similar. Because when Zebra was doing the whole at the Monkey King thing, he's like, I'm not juggling the pill bugs. That's fucking bullshit, right? And then he realized, like, what was the feeling, though? He got that same feeling. It was like, it's right before I killed a creature and ate them. It was the fear they had, and that's what Zebra was so good at. So literally, Neo is Zebra with a lot more power. That's all he was. He was like, food tastes better once they're screaming for their lives. Like, that's sadistic, but we also love Zebra for it, but we don't love Neo for it. You know, so it's sort of like...
Because Zebra still has, like, some kind of redeeming factors to him, whereas Neo doesn't, really.
True, but you could also argue, as I said, it's literally just a combination of gourmet cell appetites. His only thing is to eat.
True.
You know, he's just a creature born to eat. So,
but we've seen that they can actually gourmet demons can change. For example, like,
and he did. He grew. He did grow. He just grew more monstrous. Remember the Blue Nitro? The Blue Nitro are really at fault for Neo.
True,
remember that
because they were fucking dumb. They shouldn't have just left Neo on that planet.
And Neo was part of their crew for a while, it's implied, and they were just like, it's that weak one that doesn't do anything, fuck him. And then they left, and then he was left to just do his own thing. He felt the joy of freedom, and I can eat whatever I want, right? And I mean, once again, he's an appetite demon, that's his thing. So, I mean, like, yeah, he might not have grown in the right way, but he did grow. He grew more malicious. He grew more, you know, all of these things. Once again, I don't think that his redemption arc is warranted. I do agree with that. I'm just saying that there's a basis for his redemption. It just wasn't, once again, because of cancellations and having to speed blitz through a lot of shit. Certain things go to the wayside.
I can't imagine canceling a series at almost 400 chapters. That's fucking ridiculous.
They did it to fucking...
I can't imagine canceling a series at almost 700 chapters either, so I don't know what the fuck goes on in Shueisha.
Yeah, no shit, eh? They canceled Kubo, they canceled Toriko, they canceled...
Look, Dragon Ball Z Imran is a major Bleach researcher. He does a lot of research for his Bleach videos. He says that Bleach getting canceled is a misconception. This guy could literally use that excuse to defend Kubo. He doesn't. He just says his health was just too much in decline. Similar to Togashi with Yu Yu Hakusho, where he was like, fuck it, I'm going to finish the series. And besides, Kubo got to write the ending he wanted, like the actual final chapters, and the anime is coming back anyways. So any of that can be redeemed. So people need to stop complaining about this. But when it comes to Toriko, we're not going to get a redemption because Toriko franchise is done. And the ending was still good, even though there was
the last couple chapters were actually really good.
Yeah, like Toriko's ending was actually very thematically relevant. The penultimate chapter was about people gathering together and eating Toriko's food
the penultimate chapter was fantastic. I loved the ending of that chapter with everyone coming back together. It was great.
Yeah, and the food spirits, because once again, they don't die. They're food spirits, right? And they actually showed up, and Ichiru and Jiro and everybody was there, and finally Midora got to see Froze again. And I was just like...
Honestly, that chapter was so good, it could have ended right there because the last chapter, as hype as it was in terms of world building, it's a bunch of blue balls. I wanted to see so much of outer space. Everybody wanted to see outer space, and we're not gonna get any.
Who knows? Maybe another day. Maybe if they decided to do that instead of Build King, we would have gotten it. But oh well.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so disappointed that we got Build King instead. Like, that was just another Toriko copy. It could never be Toriko because the theme was not as interesting as
You can't
Fluid.
do Toriko again. You just have to keep doing Toriko. That's the
Literally,
secret.
I'm not exaggerating when I say this. In Build King, they were already hyping up planetary levels of power in just the first 20 chapters, and I'm like, this is Toriko all over again. I don't need that again. It was Toriko with carpentry. I'm not even exaggerating.
Well, what was other stuff? Oh yeah, favorite Heavenly King. Probably Guinness. Out of like for ones that we see the most of.
8 Kings, not Heavenly King. Not Heavenly King.
Or yeah, the 8 Kings.
Yeah.
Just from like, I can gather all information. I can gather your fucking evolutionary path and ancestry from smelling you is so ridiculous.
Guinness is fucking broken, man. In just one chapter, he displayed an immense strength feat, a speed feat, and a hack speed.
And I can share like all necessary information with you by taking a piss.
Yeah, I don't like the fact though that you know what, actually I do like Guinness. I really like Guinness.
Guinness is cool. Guinness was a cool subversion because at first it's the battle wolf that we see at the end of the human
second
trial,
in command, the
but
beta.
It's like you're not the. He's like, you're not the alpha. You're just the second in command, and I'm like, what? And then Guinness comes in looking creepy as shit. That is the creepiest wolf I've ever seen.
Yeah.
My only complaint with the 8 Kings is that they have like 3 members that are just oversized versions of the regular animals, because the other 8 Kings have really creative designs, but then you go to Guinness, the Snake King and the Crow King, and it's like, oh, just a giant wolf, crow, and a snake. It couldn't have been a...
Well, Guinness is creepy, so he gets an excuse there. He looks creepier than a normal wolf.
And once again, we already knew what the Battle Wolf looked like since fucking the first or the second arc. We already knew what the Battle Wolf was supposed to look like, so Guinness is just like a really old version of that wolf. So we already had the idea.
Yeah, but...
Mother Snake, but the Mother Snake got that fucking creepy ass double page spread where it's looking at the Neo fragment. I'm like, holy shit, that is.
And the Sky Deer was unique.
Sky Deer was fucking cool. I don't know what it is. Is it some sort of like old mystic shit where deer always have fucking super broken magical powers? There's always some shit with deer being super broken.
Well, deer, or actually, it's more so the stags.
Yeah,
Stags are always given, which in America they call bucks, but stags are always revered by like hunters and the wildlife in many mythologies and stuff. Like they're not the predator of the forest; they're the protector, the guardian of the forest.
Yeah, there it is.
Right.
I want to say this. There were theories that the king of Area 5 was going to be a tiger, because if you didn't notice, Misc, the Akasha disciples, they're based on a certain animal. Ichirio is the dragon, Jiro is the wolf, and Midora is the tiger. So there was already a dragon and a wolf among the 8 kings. So people said, oh, so the remaining 8 king is going to be like a tiger, right? Or like an insect. Nope, it's a deer. And I'm like, okay, it looks cool at least. But I would really have loved a tiger or an insect, because we don't have a bug king.
Oh yeah, that may have been cool. Well, who knows? Maybe they're used to it. Maybe
but remember I'm gonna say one thing. Not that they're technically all mammals, but I'm gonna say the 8 kings are all mammals. So an insect king or a bug king sort of takes me out of it a little bit. Like the only one that's arguably not a mammal would be the Emperor Crow, because he's an aviated.
Well, the Mother Snake is a reptile, and so is Oberus.
Reptile. What?
And the Oberus dragon would also be or what is it? The Daros?
Well, I mean, a dragon. I mean, yeah, okay. So you got the reptiles and stuff, but I mean, I don't know, like a bug king. Like I would prefer, like if they were gonna add a 9th king, I'd add a fucking. I would add the tiger before I would ever
Yeah.
add like a spider or something like that. I would add a
Yeah, because those
tiger
are
or a
yucky.
lion.
Have a fucking tiger
White
instead of a
tiger
spider.
would have been fucking badass. White tiger.
Well, yeah, that would be fucking cool.
Because
White
that's
tigers, always cool. The coolest kind of tiger.
He had a
from
whole
design,
Power Ranger base.
From a design perspective, the Daros is the coolest ape king because it's a fucking
Either-
dragon.
Either
mean-
Zeus or Heracles. Because I've always adored Heracles' design because it's like a
Heracles
horse and
is the
an
most
Eastern dragon.
unique horse design I've ever seen. Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it always looked like a horse and an Eastern dragon, and then I realized, oh, there's a Chirin from Eastern mythology that actually is an ancient horse that resembles an Eastern dragon, and I'm like, oh, so that's the inspiration for Heracles' design. He actually references multiple horses from different mythologies.
What I don't like in at least the vids or the official translation is that unlike every other king, they call him Whale King Moon, they call him Wolf King Guinness, they call him Nightmare Heracles instead of Horse King
Yeah,
Heracles.
why?
Or her, actually, because Heracles is a she. But I don't like that. I think it was a mistranslation at the time. And then when they were introduced to the rest, they went, oh, fuck. And then they kept with it. They said Monkey King Bambina. And they said Whale King Moon and stuff like that. But they never went back and changed Nightmare Heracles. Because not once is he referred to on his title card, or she is referred to as Horse King. It's always, the Nightmare has shown up. Nightmare Heracles is here. Why? One of the 8 kings, you know?
Yeah.
Man,
I
I
don't
wish
like it.
Bambina got the most hype shit out of any of the 8 kings, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yep, you could make the argument that
That
he did.
was what I wanted
Like,
that from the other kings too, and we never really
I
got
know.
much of it. Like Guinness got a little.
Bambina.
He got a little bit. Guinness got a tiny bit. You got a
Yeah.
few things, like the mother snake going into space to eat fucking space creatures. That was cool. The
Bambina takes a nap by jumping into
yeah,
space.
that's so
Yeah.
fucking ridiculous. And the mountain skipping. Oh my god, the mountain skipping.
Dude, and I fucking told you, Bambina alone has 2 feats that puts Zeus from Record of Ragnarok to complete and utter
Oh my
shame.
God, nothing compares anymore. Nothing compares.
No.
It
That's
blows everything out of the fucking water.
Yeah, the only characters I've ever met, and I've read a lot of manga and stuff, and other than, well, not even them, but literally Toriko and Dragon Ball Z, their universes are up on a tier above almost every shonen I've ever read. I'm sorry, like other shonen, sit down, Toriko. You want to have a versus match? You put Toriko characters versus Dragon Ball Z characters. You don't try to fucking scale.
Yeah.
Goku versus Saitama.
It's like, nah, get the
off.
fuck out of here.
No.
Have Goku fight, I don't know, end of series Toriko or some shit. I don't
Yeah,
know.
exactly. Now there's a fucking fight. You know, that's what I want to see.
Yeah. So Guinness. Okay, so Heracles and Bambina got big dumb hype shit. Guinness
Yep.
got a little bit. Well, no, Moon got some where his mouth is
Moon-
literally a black hole.
And I love the fact that Moon was a literal like looking moon, and then they smashed it, and it is a real whale. I love that. I
So
love
does
that.
that
It's
mean Moon is actually the size of the moon? I assume he was wearing that moon-sized asteroid.
yes, he was wearing that the whole time. It got cracked, and then he turns out to be not a beluga whale.
Can I see the
fucking-
moon yet? No. That'd be so.
I'm-
That's so fucking ridiculous.
That
So
ex-
Moon is stupid. Moon is stupid. Its mouth is literally a black hole. It can
Yeah,
absorb
Moon.
light.
Moon is a black hole. Sky Deer can fucking just
Sky
fucking.
Deer got a different kind of hype. Sky Deer
Yeah.
got like scary hype, where it's like,
And
oh,
it's-
it was as if hundreds of millions of years passed in seconds.
Yes. You know what's funny? During the fight with Neo, technically, had the Sky Deer stopped,
Yeah. They would
it
have beat
probably would. It would have ended the fight, because the only reason is because the Sky Deer decided, no, I'm gonna make like double, quadruple. I'm gonna fucking double down, quadruple down on
I'm
this
going
shit.
to age Neo till the fucking end of time.
Yeah, and then it was like, oh, I evolved. It's fuck.
Dang,
I
it's
shouldn't
like,
have done that.
fuck. I hate when that happens.
It made sense. It made sense because that's what Neo's whole thing was.
Yeah,
and
it
we
was
knew
trying to
about that.
evolve. But
But-
it always sucks when the plan backfires completely. In fact, the plan makes things worse.
Yep.
That
It reminded
always
me of
sucks.
when Yuha nullified Ichibei's ability because he renamed him Black Ant, right? And then it's like, no, I used the Almighty and I nullified all of your powers. That's what Acacia did.
Does
when
that ever come up again? Slightly off topic, but does the Almighty nullifying your abilities, does that ever come up again? I don't remember.
It's not really like the Almighty. All the Almighty actually does
Is change the future.
is see every single possible future, and then being able to pick the one they want. So, and doing that every millisecond or whatever.
Yeah.
My argument, the way to beat the Almighty, is something that you and I were sort of talking about before, Miss. I was like, okay, so Yuha can see all the fucking, like, the futures, like grains of sand, right? There's not an infinite amount of futures, but here's, like, let's say...
We're talking about Toriko.
Yeah. So you see all this, you see all these futures, right? But once again, Yuha even admits he's seen futures where he dies and he just picks a different one instead.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what happens at the end. Or was that what
Right.
happened with Ichibei? Did that happen with Ichibei too?
It did happen with Ichibei too. It also happened with Ichigo
Yeah, with
and
Ichigo,
Orihime
where
versus...
he died, and he was like, "No, I don't.
No,
actually,
I chose not... Right, because he chose another future. My argument is, what about, because I forget what anime this is, but it was somebody who gave up because the probability was 0. Their whole thing was basically doing something similar to the Almighty, and they were like, well, the probability is, like, all of a sudden they just gave up.
Yeah,
and they were
I
like,
guess
why?
in theory you would have to put Yua into a situation where there is literally no possible way to win.
Like, once again, you fight, alright, let's fight,
But here's
let's
the thing:
let's fight Midora.
is that
He uses
with,
Minority World. You're fucked.
with Yua, if Yua works, if the Almighty works on multiverse theory, then there are infinite futures, which means there will always be at least one where he wins.
But it does not actually work on that because he even said it's like the amount of the grains of sand. It sounds like infinite, but it's not infinite. It is a finite amount. Oh, the Almighty does work on a finite amount, and let's just use an example. Let's say Ichiru versus, and let's say he'll use non-slime cells and he'll eat a feast. You know, he'll eat Akasa's full course. Holy fuck, that dude's gonna break a universe.
Right.
But let's say that he was willing to do that or whatever to fight Yuha. Yuha can see all the futures, but if he loses every single one, then it doesn't matter that he's got the Almighty. He can pick a future where he dies 6 ways from Sunday. It won't matter because in every future he dies.
Steampunk says, God, all this Toriko talk without any context sounds like rocket science. Steam, go read Toriko right now. If you trust
It's
my
amazing.
judgment about the quality of manga, go fucking read Toriko right now.
So,
It reminds me of it's Doctor Strange in Infinity War. He looked through like 4 million fucking or 1.4 million futures and he saw them win once. I feel like literally Yuha would do that against some of the Toriko characters. He'd be like, I saw a million futures. I lost every fucking one of them. You know?
like, honestly, that's why I said that in the last chapter of Toriko, that's where they introduced the characters that can 100,000% beat Yuha, and that's the gourmet gods. Because these things are the size of pseudo galaxies and they can manipulate probability.
Oh, yeah, those. I was wondering when those would get introduced. In the last
and they're basically Acacia, Midora, Ichiryu. They're basically those gods, and that's the awesome part.
Like, there's literally an entire race of cosmic entities in Toriko, and I'm like, why am I not surprised?
Yeah, you shouldn't be.
Sean said, doesn't he nullify Ichigo's Bankai? Maybe I'm wrong. No, it's not that he nullified his Bankai. It's that he chose a future. That's why probably we don't see his Bankai released, is because Yuha saw a future where when he releases his Bankai, it must have been a threat. So he chose a future where he already broke the Bankai.
Yeah, I think
that's what he
was
did.
Indirect hype for Ichigo's Bankai, where he was like, "Oh shit! If you actually use that on me, I may die. So I'm going to choose a future where it breaks."
Right. So he picked a future where he had already broken it, just like he set traps and everything for Orihime and Ichigo. It's not that Yuha is invincible and like he's not technically omnipotent. He's not
Like his
technically.
perception can be fucked with, as we see with Kyoto
Right.
Suigetsu. You
Yeah,
can
look
change
at
his
Aizen.
perception
Aizen
of the
fucked
future.
up his future. Yeah, exactly. He fucked up his future sight all the time.
Which
Once again,
it's weird to think about. You have to think of him seeing the future as one of his 5 senses. And therefore, Aizen can fuck with it.
yeah, like you can blind somebody and basically think of Yuha's, as Misc said, the future sight is technically being able to, you can blind it in multiple ways. Or once again, if you're so fucking strong that it doesn't matter how many futures you see, you die anyways, then, you know,
Kinda
like I
like
still
Kinda
don't know
like
how he's
Buddha.
beating Minority World.
It's kind of like Buddha, because he said that if he can't evade the future that he's seeing, then he has to find other ways to evade the attack. Like, for example, when Shirofuku used that giant multi-sided axe, and it's like, okay, I can't really evade it even though I'm seeing the future, so I'm just gonna block it with a shield.
Right.
Well, I guess technically everything Buddha does is future alteration, because even dodging out of the way of an attack is altering the future.
Yeah, he's seeing the attack before it comes. Like, basically, that's a very, I guess you could call it a limited version of the Almighty, but really, realistically, Yuha Bach is just an extremely powered, top 5 in the verse individual in the Bleach universe. And
do you think
he
there
was...
are people above you are? Like, do you
No,
think Yua's
no,
not
what I
powerful?
mean is take away his Almighty.
You're right,
take
take
away
away
his...
the Almighty.
Now, he literally died 5 times in the fucking series. He just changed the future. He died to Ichibei. He died to Ichigo twice. He died to Aizen. Like, he died multiple times. He just kept fucking with the future and deciding to change it.
Well, I guess that's just
So-
the power of future sight. Though saying
Right,
like
but-
Yuha without that, it's like saying fucking, I don't know, Ichigo
You know what?
without Zangetsu.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is that his basis isn't that he's all powerful. He's not like we like to think. Well, he's God. He's God. His strength, his power, all that shit is just it transcends everything.
It's because of
not
the Almighty.
Right. It's because of the Almighty. Because once again, Ichigo cut him down not once, twice. And
Yes.
so did and Yamamoto probably, and Yamamoto actually did beat him 900
and we'll
years
never
ago.
know how and why he didn't kill him.
We never know that, but my point is that Yuha has died multiple times, but because of the Almighty, he's got a cheat code to give him infinite lives. That's all it is. So, but the thing is that you have infinite lives, but if you can never actually beat the like Yuha needs to fight an opponent, which is why I said Toriko characters. Yuha fighting an opponent that he can't actually touch. What's Yuha gonna fucking do? Every future, the only reason that Yuha wins is because he loses to one move and then he changes the future where he beat that move. But if he can't actually beat the move, like how the fuck would he ever beat Minority World, for example?
Okay.
Then
Yeah, I get what
then
you're
he's
saying,
fucked. Then he's fucked.
It's funny,
Like,
actually, you mentioned this. So, I don't think you've read it yet, but I've been reading this webtoon called The Boxer, and that happens in a recent arc where a character is like so fucking absurdly lucky that the most improbable shit happens. You just have improbabilities stacking on top of improbabilities. So even as improbable as something is, it's not impossible until you consider that no, some things really are just impossible and will never happen.
Yeah, basically it's like the miracle from Gerard, but on steroids.
How do you beat... Okay, now we're getting into Bleach stuff. Do we want to bring Band in and ask him what he thinks about, like, the 10 chapters of Toriko he's read? Do we want to ask Band what he thinks about Toriko?
I mean, sure. Well, before we do that, all right. Is there anything else, Tenryu, Misc, or myself? Is there anything else you want to talk about in the final arc? Any other moments that you really loved? Any other characters that you changed? Like, let's just.
Super good shit from the final arc. I mean, the way Toriko beats Neo with the White Demon showing up is cool. As much as I feel like the White Demon should have been built up to more, I don't remember the exact line, but I like how fucking casual he is about it. And then Toriko does the same thing as usual. It's like, see you later. Actually, let me go and find the exact line. I can go fucking pull it up.
He's like, say the words, Toriko. I love hearing those words. Thank you for the meal.
I wish we got to see more of that guy. He was cool.
But once again, when they hyped him up, they said, you jump up for a second, Toriko's gonna explode.
Yeah, Toriko's gonna die if you come out for like a second. Oh, and he has the best design out of the demons, too. It's so cool. He's like this weird Buddha-looking guy.
He looks so fucking cool.
As fuck Buddha.
He looks like
overeating, and you have been for billions of years. I knew it. I can only come out for a little while. Listen, Toriko. Yeah, just be fucking angry and hit him. And Toriko, haven't you forgotten the most important phrase to wrap this up with? I love that. So do it now, Toriko. See you later. See you later, and he pokes him in the head, and his fucking head explodes.
And like, Toriko has eaten Akasha's full course at that point, and he can still only come out for an instant. That is some fucking nightmarish hype.
Yeah. See you later. So that's a good one-liner. That's real good.
The one-liners. Well, remember you loved Toriko's Star Gym. Step outside.
That's still okay. So final arc has cool shit, but I think the Cooking Festival is still the best arc in Toriko.
Yeah, it is really good. Actually, Misc, I have to ask you one thing. The reason you might like that line. Have you seen Rocky V?
I may have at some point, but it's just been
okay. Because the only good part of Rocky V, the worst Rocky movie of them all, the only good part is literally the end where the guy who's challenging Rocky, and Rocky's at a bar and whatever, and fucking he's just like, hey, I need to fight you to prove that I'm worthy, because the media is just like, you're not Rocky, so we don't give a fuck about you. And he's like, hey, I'm going to beat Rocky in a match, sort of idea. And Rocky's like, no, I don't want to. And so one of his friends goes up, Paulie, just goes up and says, fucking, he's the real champ, you're just a goddamn bum, so why don't you step outside of our, like, get outside, like, go away. And he punches Paulie down. So then Rocky goes, hey, you knocked him down, why don't you try knocking me down now? And he goes, well, and then the manager's like, Tommy Gunn fights in the ring, only in the ring. And Rocky says, my ring's outside.
Yeah.
Step out. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And then Rocky beats the shit out of him in a street fight because he's fucking Rocky. But it's like that's the same sort of hype I felt when he was like, step outside. This is gonna get bloody. We're stepping the fuck outside.
Yeah, there's something about it. Like, it's something people will say at like a bar fight or whatever. When someone's about to get into a fight in a bar or something, it's like, hey, let's take this outside. There's something about that when you have dumb, overpowered anime men. It's also the context where like everything's going to shit, and Toriko just very confidently walks up behind Starjin and says, Starjin, step outside. Because the implication is, I'm gonna kick your fucking ass. The implication is, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, Starjin.
Yeah, and he doesn't need to say it. Like, that's the beauty of it.
The best thing about saying, step outside, is you don't have to say what you're gonna do. Everyone knows what you're going to do when you say that.
Yeah, it's like a manga that I read that I think did not get enough hype, Beelzebub, in Shonen Jump and stuff. There was a moment there where like the main character had getting his ass kicked by these characters like 3 times, of course, right? And then he got his power boost and blah, blah, blah. And then the main girl is about to be like killed or whatever. And he like, you know, of course blitzes, he's got her in his arms. And the first thing he says to her is like, you actually just tried to kill her, you little bitch. And it's just like, oh, like he didn't say, why the fuck would you try to kill this girl? He goes, you really just tried to kill her, you little bitch. And that's what he's calling the dude who kicked his ass.
I understand what you meant in that stream back in October when you wanted more moments like that. Because that is one of the most hype build-ups to a fight I've ever seen, ever.
Exactly, and that's what we need. We need that level hype, and we need You don't need to be Toriko to build some hype. Right. Beelzebub does it, Dragon Ball Z does it, Tokyo Ghoul does it. Like, every manga actually does it. Record of Ragnarok does a fantastic job of hype building. But like, because Toriko is the hype manga. We're never going to get that again. But the fact of the matter is that when you're building up a hype, you need to do it properly. And as you've been saying, Miss, like certain one-liners, you don't say, the classic thing is, I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to punch your lights out. Like, no. Be creative about it. Be more subtle. Be more subtle, and it seems more deadly. It just works.
I have to agree with the white demon there. I love it when you do that. I love it when you say that, Toriko.
And that's actually really cool because it's based on Buddha and Itala Kimatsu is based on Buddha. It's like, oh, okay, that's why the third demon was like, I love it when you say those words, Toriko. It shows what kind of character he is.
Yeah, he likes when he's thankful for his meal, yeah.
Yeah, he's based on Buddha.
So, Tenryu, do you have anything? I just want to say really quick right here. I'm watching the chat here, and they're arguing the whole Gojo versus stuff.
Yeah,
and
we
Saya
argued
said
that with Det a couple weeks ago. I don't care.
Okay, I was just going to say Six Eyes see through Aizen's manipulation, but by that logic, like, so would the Almighty.
Yeah, but like,
so.
Kyogosu Getsu can fuck with the Almighty. You think it can't fuck with the Six Eyes?
Yeah, like, I don't get that. But anyways, Tenryu, since Misc already sort of brought up some of his points, unless you have anything more to add, Misc, I want to hear what Tenryu has to say before we invite Band in, that's all.
Oh, wait, one more thing. So, Jiro going all out was so fucking cool. So cool. Listen, I thought, like, Grand Knocking was kind of ridiculous already. And then he gets even more absurd. Because I'm like, how do you get more ridiculous than Grand Knocking if he does this while he's sealed?
Yes.
Fucking time knocking.
And knocking.
And it hurt him. It hurt him.
He can knock away damage that can destroy planets like 100 times over. They said it. You've knocked enough damage in your life to destroy the planet like countless times over. He can literally do that. If you damage me, I can just knock it away.
How the fuck do you knock time? How do you do that?
He's Jiro. How did he stop a Neptune side? He's Jiro. I mean, you don't need an answer. People want to use the argument he's Saitama. Fuck that. He's Jiro. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. He can knock whatever the fuck he wants, man. And the head shaker. I love the head shaker.
Oh, the head shaker's so good. It's so simple, but it's so good.
Dude,
I love that you thought, like, you were like, oh, this is Jiro in his final form. It looks all grotesque and creepy. And I was like, that's not his final form. I can't wait.
And like I said in Misc's Discord, I said that, okay, Jiro and Kenpachi transformed in the same week. And I'm like, guess which one was more fun? Jiro was undoubtedly more epic than Kenpachi. I'm sorry, he actually succeeded. Yes, he lost to Akasha, but he did defeat the Blue Nitro. And he displayed a lot of really fucking hype techniques, like stopping time temporarily and knocking away damage.
And
the only reason Jiro lost is because he was pissed, and he wanted Akasha to fucking answer him.
And then he did, but then apparently Akasha's. We'll not get into that again. I think that's all I have to say about Toriko.
Okay, fair enough. And I mean, clearly a hype series. Tenryu, do you have any other moments from the this part to?
All right, so because you guys already mentioned the White Demon, and I don't really have too much more to add to that, I'm gonna mention the fact that this arc actually involved all the 8 kings teaming up against one villain. I cannot believe I cannot believe they actually made that happen. And the 8 kings, even though they didn't defeat Akasha, they still lived up to the hype. I cannot say that for a lot of other series where the top tiers, they don't live up to the hype or they don't get utilized enough. Like, for example, Seven Deadly Sins or in Bleach or other series where you feel like, oh, the top tiers could have done better. But in here, I'm, like, satisfied, actually, what they did.
The suicide teamwork was unbelievable.
Like, literally, they could sense signals thrown at each other. And I'm like, do they have telepathy and stuff like that?
So, what is it? Mother Snake eats Neo and is like, okay, I now have to kill myself by going into Moon's mouth. And then Moon is immediately like, okay, I have to kill myself by getting blown up by Barros.
Yeah, like...
It's immediate. There is zero hesitation in it. It's like, alright, I have to go now?
They just know that this is the most dangerous thing on Earth and they need to destroy it.
Like, again, I cannot believe that they actually made the 8 Kings team up to defeat one opponent. You don't see a lot of other series build up so many characters at once and then use them in the same arc. You just don't. It's very rare, in fact. So that's the one part I have to talk about.
I can never write a good series because I'd be too excited about making top tier characters do stuff that they'd be the only ones doing stuff.
Yeah, it like you gotta appreciate what Toriko did in that respect. Like to hold off on this level of hype for so long.
I can't imagine having to wait that long to do that shit.
So good, but see, it built up because you never would have thought starting the first arc of Toriko that fucking they'd be like solar system level.
Oh my god, Garara Gator is capture level 8. This seems really bad, Toriko.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just like, what the fuck? And actually, since nobody else shouted her out, Setsuno!
Oh, yeah, big props to Setsuno. If it wasn't for Setsuno, the world
human
would
world
have
is
blown up
gone.
like 10 times over during this
She
arc.
takes her life force and all her gajillion calories and goes, I'm gonna shield this so that Jiro can go all out.
Until I die, you don't have to worry about anything, Jiro.
Yeah. So Jiro can literally do planet-destroying techniques without worrying about destroying the planet.
Don't hit the Earth, Jiro. I shiver at the thought.
Imagine had he hit the fucking Earth.
Well,
like,
yeah.
There it goes. There it goes. It's gone. Neptune-sized planet. Fuck yeah. Because didn't they say it's 649 times the size of our Earth?
Or it had 649 times the volume.
Whatever
the fuck that means.
Yeah, which I think is I don't know if it's proportional.
That's the size. I don't know. It doesn't seem that much bigger initially.
But volume is not necessarily mass either, so you'd have to do the calculation. Anyways, point is, the thing is massive. I'm gonna go off King of Lightning because he did the math. Apparently, it's basically a big version of Neptune, according to him, for like every reaction for like 3 years. So I'm going off on that. That's what the size is. It seems accurate considering the human world's like this big and the gourmet world is like that fucking big.
And you can see normal Earth at the center, and it's tiny. It's small.
Yeah, it's tiny. So apparently Neptune is fucking really big. I didn't know Neptune was that big, but apparently it is.
All the gas giants are kind of big. It's just not as ridiculously huge as like Saturn and Jupiter.
Right, exactly. So, but either way, yeah, I just wanted to shout her out because she did an amazing job in the background, but the final shot and everything. Yeah. Okay. But other than that, yeah, that's.
I think we can invite Band in here now.
I think so.
Yeah.
Let's invite Band in.
Yeah, because we can't. We gotta get more people in here. We can't just have spoilers being thrown around willy-nilly.
Right, yeah. So Band, we'll ask Band what he thinks. I don't know. I think the last time we checked on, he read like 8 chapters, and that was a few days ago. So we'll see what's going on with Band March now. Anything interesting in the chat? Not really. Webcam Parrot did a video about Neo. Let me look up Webcam Parrot.
There's several videos on YouTube talking about the 8 Kings, and I'm like, they deserve it because the 8 Kings are some of the hypest shit ever.
Yeah, they're
like
ridiculous.
Toriko is the series where they don't just tell you how strong a character is, they show you how strong they are.
Oh, my favorite type. Oh, I watched some of this guy's stuff. The Dark Side versus Trigon thing. Okay, nice. This guy did something. How strong is Neo Acacia from Toriko? Has this guy done more Toriko stuff? Please tell me he's done more Toriko stuff.
More people need to.
Nah, he's only done Neo. Oh well, that'll have to satisfy.
I'm gonna check out Webcam Parrots. I wish Toriko was included in Death Battle, honestly.
Toriko
but who would be a good fight for him?
Needs more clout. We need more clout for Toriko.
I mean, they used a lot of other obscure series, so I'm wondering why not Toriko. It's just that it's hard to find a good fight for like one of the characters. I don't know. Who would you put against Toriko? Like Asura from Asura's Wrath? Well, he did fight the god of his own universe.
Listen, Asura's Wrath gets fucking ridiculous with feats.
Yeah.
It gets absurd with feats. Asura's Wrath is one of the few things I can think of that gets as ridiculous as Toriko, if not more. Actually,
Okay,
no,
I
the
think-
galaxy fucking Buddha shit. That's more ridiculous than Toriko.
Honestly, I would love to see Chakravartin in the Toriko universe. I think he loses against the Gourmet gods, but against everyone else, it would be interesting. I think he would give a lot of the characters a good fight.
That is such a
Chakravartin-
good fight against God. Like fights where the character fights straight up God of the universe. That fucking Asura versus Chakravartin is like one of the best I've seen.
Yeah, and the ending where he dies, and I'm like, oh my god, he sacrificed himself for his daughter. Asura is the best dad of the year.
And he's
Someone
voiced by
give him the
Liam
award.
O'Brien, so it's even better. Banned. Banned. How many chapters of Toriko have you read?
I've only read the 6.
Wait, we can barely hear you. Speak louder. We want to know what you think of it so far. Banned. I assume he's fixing his mic or something. I don't know.
Band actually bought a new mic, so
he did,
so I'm
but he still seems to. Well,
Hello?
hello.
There you are.
Yo.
So how many chapters of Toriko have you read?
I haven't read any recently.
But
Still on
where are
chapter-
you at? How many have you read?
Chapter 6.
Okay, so
Oh,
what do you think
okay.
6 chapters in?
Oh boy. It's pretty fun. I mean, I enjoy the monsters, the art's amazing. I look forward to seeing what happens in the future.
There's a lot of hype, man. There's a lot of hype.
There's big hype.
Yes.
And if you like these monster designs in the first couple of chapters, man, then you're in
Oh,
for
boy.
a great time.
Oh yeah, you're in for a real treat. They get pretty fantastic.
Yeah, like this series specializes in creature designs. In terms of character designs, the monsters are the best designed characters in the series. Like from the demons to like to the creatures themselves. Yep, they're the best designs.
They
There
really are.
4 things in Toriko that they do excellently: monster design, hype, world building, and narration. Toriko has some
Yep.
of the
Oh,
best
boy.
narration in any manga I've ever read.
I'm glad you said that. That's not usually a key thing that people praise Toriko for, but I agree completely. You're never bored.
He said that. King of
Like-
Lightning said that. Okay, Toriko has fights on the level of like something like Dragon Ball Z, but it has like a Hunter x Hunter style narration. To
Yeah, I was
add
about
more-
to say, like,
more
this
fight.
and fucking Chimera Ant arc narration are like the 2 best narrations I've ever heard or read.
I'm gonna speak to Band's knowledge here because I know Band will know this. Basically, Toriko, my friend, has a certain level of you know how you were never bored reading a chapter of Shaman King?
Yeah.
You're never bored reading a chapter of Toriko.
Oh boy.
Exactly. See, you guys are throwing out terms like Hunter x Hunter and One Piece and things like that. No. You got to speak to the man.
Yeah, you gotta speak. Well, I mean, Band likes Hunter x Hunter, but we also know he loves Shaman King. So,
Yeah, Shaman King's like
which
my top 3
I
manga.
believe comes to Netflix on August 9th, so I'll be watching that. Also,
Oh, it's
completely
so good.
off topic, but they're putting the rest of Hunter x Hunter on Netflix. They're missing like the whole Chimera Ant arc and I think the Chairman's Selection arc, so they're putting the rest of it on Netflix now. So now I can watch the rest of it on Netflix. I had to watch all of Chimera Ant and Chairman's Selection on some fucking like random website. It was like Watch Hunter x Hunter. It had all of it. There was no ad bullshit, but I could only watch it in very crisp, smooth 360p. So I'll be able to watch some of my favorite moments again in much higher video quality come like the first week of August.
I wanna watch it because you've constantly told me stop trying to read it, just fucking watch it
Just
and maybe you'll
listen.
like it.
I saw some interesting. Twitter is fucking terrible, but every once in a while I see something good on there, and I saw someone say like, listen, if you start watching an anime and you don't like it, just stop fucking watching it. Or if you're reading a manga and you don't like it, just stop fucking reading it. So if the Hunter x Hunter manga is not working for you, like at all, like if you maybe just don't like the way it's formatted or whatever, just watch the anime. I've heard it's basically better in every conceivable way, except it cuts out a few things because they don't really get they knew Togashi was gonna hiatus, so they didn't introduce it because it was gonna allude to further plot points. But they were just like, whatever. And it ends. It hasn't ended. So,
like, my experience with Hunter x Hunter is basically I watched the whole anime, and after it ended, I just went to read the material that was after the anime, that was the manga. I did that. I'm up to date with the manga now because of the extra chapters, and now I'm like, yeah, I don't care if it ever comes back because it's never gonna finish. And I think that's the best attitude to go into it, just not caring. If it comes out, if we get new chapters, okay, I'll read them, but I'm not gonna get excited. I'm not gonna get hyped because then I'm just gonna have to wait even more after it goes on hiatus again.
And the main story is over. So you can just watch the anime, and congratulations, you've completed the main story of Hunter x Hunter.
Well, the one thing I want to get through is literally the reason I want to is because people put Chimera Ant arc. Once I'm finished that, I literally, if I want to continue reading or watching, that's on me. But I need to, because people put this on the same level as things like the Soul Society arc in Bleach.
Yeah.
So clearly I need to read it or watch it. I need to experience it.
I hope you're not being overhyped for it. I'm worried that you may be getting overhyped for it.
Well, maybe, but like once again, like when somebody told me, like I remember, what series was it? Either way, when people tell me this is Soul Society level, I go in there with a grain of salt, assuming that it's not going to be better than Soul Society.
Oh well, then you're fine, I guess.
But I go in with an expectation that it's going to be really fucking good. It might not be S tier for me, but it might be A tier. It might be some really good shit. Yeah. So I like, because I mean, if I came to you, Miss, tomorrow, like whatever your favorite, well, I'll just use me as an example because I know me. So Lord of the Rings, greatest books of all time ever written. You come to me and you say this thing is just as good as Lord of the Rings. I'm going to go into that and go, okay, high praise. I'm going to read these books with an open mind. They're never going to be better than Lord of the Rings for me, but this could still be A tier while Lord of the Rings is S tier. That's the attitude I go in. You've hyped it up enough for me to say, hey, this is definitely some good fucking shit. I better give it an honest read. And sometimes you're pleasantly surprised. And then you go, holy shit, it might not be Lord of the Rings, but it is fucking S tier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you go in assuming it's one grade below what people tell you, and then you're pleasantly surprised when it's actually better than you thought.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, with Soul Society, watching Soul Society for the first time, I was like, this is weird. Not everything is like 10 out of 10 blowing me away every second. But by the time I was done with it, I'm like, there were no problems with that arc. That was a flawless arc.
I loved watching Soul Society, man. All the hype, like, even though
like, there were the hype moments. You had Uryu versus Mayuri. You had Ichigo versus Kenpachi. You had, Renji training to use his Bankai. Ichigo versus Byakuya. Yamamoto doing stuff. And then the Aizen thing.
We never saw that fight, and it was so fucking hype. Ryujin Jaka! And it was like, alright,
and we never got a Yamamoto fight. A real Yamamoto fight where people weren't fucking with him.
Yep, not once. Because as even Aizen feared him.
He's too strong. You have to fuck with him. Which is weird because it seemed like Yua could have just shown up without any of the other bullshit. Could have just shown up and would have been like, what's up, Yamamoto? Get the fuck out of here. You know what my, and this is just a fan theory of mine, but the reason he didn't do that is because literally 900 years ago, he tried to do that and Yamamoto fucking stopped him. Yeah.
That's why he doesn't do it. That's why I think, because Mayuri even insults him saying, you didn't kill that.
That's because you didn't fucking kill Yua.
Yeah, exactly. But the idea is that, well, if he fought Yuha, and Yuha supposedly was at the same power, or at least comparable, why the fuck, how did he beat him? But apparently
Thank you, Sean.
He did.
Sean Whetzone, so much for this comment. Chimera Ant and Soul Society arcs are so different. I understand you mean quality, but they are still so different. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. They, in terms of quality, absolutely, but they are very different types of arcs.
Good to know, good to know.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting a carbon copy, ladies and gentlemen, just so if everybody's aware.
Okay, because Chimera Ant is a very long arc with a lot of different parts. There are many different things that happen over the course of Chimera Ant, whereas Soul Society is pretty much just them invading Soul Society to rescue Ruka.
We got a lot of moments, but it's linear
It's
in their
very linear,
objectives.
whereas Chimera Ant has a lot of different characters doing different things over a long period of time.
Yeah, and like Hunter x Hunter doesn't
And
really
then
follow
it all culminates in like a Soul Society style thing.
Yeah, which is fair. Once again, that's the only reason I continue to try to read or watch Hunter x Hunter is because I've heard such great things about the Chimera Ant arc, and I just want to get there. But I want to get there. I can't just like start at the Chimera Ant arc. I think
Yeah,
that
I
makes
know.
sense.
Like I had to watch through Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, so I'll probably end up doing it eventually, and give it a fair rating.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not upset that I did because I really liked. I liked the Zoldyck arc. I liked Heaven's Arena. Maybe I'm partially alone in this, but I thought Heaven's Arena was good. I loved York New. I think York New's a great arc. Chimera
Yes.
Ant, obviously, Chimera Ant's a 10 out of 10 arc. And then, to my fucking shock, the Chairman election arc immediately after is also a fantastic arc, which I didn't expect at all until someone, like, I heard an offhand comment about it, and I'm like, it is? I've never even heard of this arc. Yeah. It's
The thing
just
with
as
Hunter
good,
Hunter-
if not arguably better than York New.
The thing is that Hunter x Hunter doesn't really have any bad arcs, honestly. All of them are good.
There are arcs that you don't really care for. I think there are arcs that are kind of weaker than other arcs.
Yeah.
Like
I actually
the gap
really-
between the Hunter exam and Chimera Ant is very fucking big. It's a big
Which
gap.
one? What's the one where fucking Gon was so obsessed with having the number 43 or whatever? Was that the Hunter exam?
Wasn't it because Hisoka? What the fuck?
Yeah,
was
yeah,
his name?
yeah,
I
but
think it
he
was
was-
Hisoka with the pin or whatever.
Yeah, it was the pin thing. I didn't like the part in the forest. I thought that was really fucking boring and stupid. I didn't mind the exam up until that point, like where they were on the boat and then they did the training and then they fucking then they went to the arenas and blah blah blah. It's when they got into the forest fucking setting, I was just like, I don't really care. Let's just move on. And that part was really weak for me. As far as when I was reading, that was the weakest part for me. I really skimmed those chapters when they were in the woods.
Yeah.
After that, everything was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We'll talk about it whenever you get to it. I mean, I would recommend that whenever you have the free time, are you gonna pick up the anime like right from the beginning, or just go from wherever you left off?
I'll go right from the beginning because maybe I'll like Gon better if I hear his voice or something.
Maybe.
Like maybe.
I don't think he has an annoying voice. He has I think he has a fairly normal, small child male shonen protagonist voice.
Yeah,
He's voiced by a
and-
woman. Standard practice.
Right, exactly, and I don't mind that. Like I'm still missing. Like I can't watch Pokemon anymore because Veronica Taylor is not doing Ash Ketchum's voice anymore, so that bothers me. So
I can't
mean-
watch Pokemon anymore because it's so repetitive, and Ash is never gonna be a Pokemon master. People can say anything about One Piece, but at least there's progress in the story. But Ash, he's not going anywhere. Oh my god,
that's because he saw Ho-Oh in the first episode.
man! Fuck
Oh,
you,
right,
Ash.
One
Fuck
Piece.
you.
I started One Piece.
Yes.
I am at
One
the
Piece.
beginning of chapter 12. I will give some opinions on One Piece.
Very
It's neat.
pog.
I mean, I don't think I'm nowhere near far enough into it to give like a comprehensive opinion, but it's neat. It's got some heart. It's much more lighthearted than a lot of other shonen I've noticed.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Right
And-
now,
and-
at
and-
least at the beginning.
Yeah, you know what I love is that the first thing, one of the first things you said was I think I'm really gonna like Zoro. And I was like, all right, yeah, this man knows what he's reading.
I mean, it's
Yes.
a guy with 3 katanas. What
Yeah.
the fuck do you want from me?
Yeah, he uses three sword style. He uses one as his mouth. What the fuck?
Listen, I am very easily entertained by the anime swords. What can I say?
Swordsmen
very
are
easy
the
to please.
best.
They're the coolest.
Anime swordsmen are fucking amazing.
Because
The only one
katanas are Japan's thing, so whenever you have a character with a katana, 99% of the time you're gonna jerk them off as much as possible. They're going to be one of the coolest characters in the series.
Dude, like, having 3 swords is as awesome as Darth Maul having a double-bladed lightsaber. I still get hyped seeing that shit because it's ingrained into my very childhood. I used to dress up as Darth Maul for Halloween and everything.
Wow.
I love Darth Maul's lightsaber.
That takes a lot of face paint.
Or he could have just had a mask.
I think I have face paint actually.
Oh wow.
I was about to say, like, you got to do it properly. If you're gonna do it, you
well,
do
it depends on what kind of funding you have, and the time and dedication. What kind of resources are available to you for child, dressing up for Halloween.
Well, I managed to do it, and I didn't actually have the double-bladed lightsaber, but I did have the red lightsaber, and honestly, yeah, I still get hyped seeing that fight because Darth Maul was like one of my favorite things as a kid. That fight is just well choreographed, and they actually did new tactics. So, and the music. Let's not forget about the fucking music, people. It's one of my favorite childhood memories, just watching that fight in the theaters and then boom and everything.
Oh man, I can't imagine watching Duel of the Fates in theaters.
I was there.
It's got a lot of heart going for it. It's very. I think Neo said it's a slow burn. I think he's right. I think this is the slowest I've read a manga in a while. Because I'm not trying to speed through this shit at all. I'm going slowly. I'm reading it in color. Some of these translations are weird. They don't use periods, except for when there's more than one sentence in a speech bubble. Very bizarre. Yeah. These are strange translations.
Yeah, the color translations are a little odd, but you don't miss anything vital, because I reread One Piece in color last year, just because I wanted to, and it's still very worthy, and I really like having it color.
Like I said, just enjoy the journey because
I was AFK for a second. Did I miss anything?
Oh, you're back. Okay.
What?
Yeah, we're still talking about One Piece.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, Sean, I know One Piece has over 1,000 chapters, and it continues to surprise. Oh wait, that's not what you were saying. It has over 1,000 chapters, and it continues to surprise me in a good way. That's pretty impressive, I have to say.
It surprised people fucking last year, so.
All right, yeah. Once again, One Piece has been around for so long, and so many famous things have happened in it, that I'm aware of a lot of the important shit that happens in One Piece. Like, this is by no means a blind read-through of One Piece, but it's over 1,000 chapters, so I still don't know, like, 99% of the stuff that happens in One Piece. Like, this whole first arc, I have no idea what the fuck's going on in it. I'm, like, vaguely aware of the Zoro rescue, but I had no idea, like, the shit going on with the Marines. I didn't know Buggy the Clown showed up this early. I was just aware of his existence because of King of Lightning, finding it very funny that him and Jogo have the same voice actor.
That's true.
It's good. I like Luffy. I like the tone. They did a really good job setting up the tone of the series right now, is that it's just kind of a lighthearted adventure. It's a lighthearted adventure. It's not serious. Oh, no. This feels... You know what's funny? Is, like, Shonen Jump is supposed to be, like, I imagine, like, a preteen demographic for the most part. Oh, did I say Luffy? Luffy. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Luffy. I have to get used to it because it's not spelled like that. I always interpret U's as being, like, very low. Luffy. Yeah. Alright, so...
Luffy.
I'm gonna have to get used to saying it a bunch.
Just so you know, Misc, he's gonna be the king of pirates.
Absolutely. I have no doubt about it.
We don't know yet, but still. No spoilers, but we still don't know.
Right. Shit. This feels like something you would expect, like, a younger, like, preteen audience to read. Because it's not, like, super dark and gritty, like a lot of other newer shonen. Like, Chainsaw Man being a weekly Shonen Jump series is so hilarious to me because it doesn't have that vibe at all. It's so different in vibe from One Piece. It's fucking unreal. I can't believe these are in the same were in the same magazine.
That's why it's changing to Shonen Jump Plus, because it just doesn't belong in Weekly Shonen Jump,
Well,
honestly.
that, and also Fujimoto gets some more creative freedom with stuff over there, like with his schedule. I think the editors don't have as much say in what he does, so he has more free reign over what to do. God knows if that's a good thing or not.
I'm so sad that Denji is never gonna be front and center along with the other Shonen Jump protagonists, because I remember there was this Weekly Shonen Jump cover that had Luffy, Senku, Yuji, Asta, and Deku. They were all front and center in one cover, and I'm like, Denji's gonna be there one day.
Oh, that's
not
a
anymore
shame.
because he's
Fuck. By the way, guys, go watch that Denji video I made. That was a lot of fun. That's probably more interesting analysis than I've done in any other video before. You should watch it. You Chainsaw Man people out there.
Yes, Denji's a very good protagonist. Like, I remember someone saying, "Oh, Asta's like the best developed protagonist in Weekly Shonen Jump right now," and I'm like, "Have you seen Yuji and Denji? Have you?
Oh God! Have you seen King of Lightning's video that he came out with recently, talking about how he has some expectations for Chainsaw Man, and
yes,
he was talking to some of like his fucking tier 3 subscribers or whatever on his Patreon. They were talking to him on a stream, and they were saying, "Oh yeah, like Denji's a shit tier protagonist, just barely above Deku." I'm like, this guy is a fucking moron.
They don't know how to read.
This man, his ass is not reading. These people are not reading. There are a lot of people reading this series that have like a fucking first grade reading comprehension level.
I need to read above chapter 20. Apparently, I really do, because
they're the same people that say that Record of Ragnarok has no substance, and I'm like, you're just looking at pages. You're not reading the series.
You have to do a little more than just be like, yeah, he's horny. I'm like, no, you don't understand. That's important.
Yeah, you titled your thumbnail, he's not a simp.
He's not just like a pervy character like you have in a bunch of other series, where this is actually important to his character and part of the message of the series.
How many chapters is Chainsaw Man?
97.
You know, like, I feel like I need to read it again, because I read like 20 odd chapters, and all I thought of this fucker was that he literally puts himself in life or death situations for the chance of putting his face in a pair of titties.
Because
so I was like,
he's had nothing his whole life, and he can't die now apparently. So why not?
Well, all I'm saying is that 20 chapters in, that's all I felt. So like, clearly something must happen when I stopped reading versus chapter 97, because you, like, even your thumbnail miss said he's not a simp.
He's not.
20 chapters in, the fucker was such that he was the biggest simp I've ever read in manga history. So clearly something must have changed, or there must be some development or some dialogue. There's got to be some character interaction. There's got to be something.
Yeah, you know? Because the thing is that, okay, I'm not calling you out, Griever, but people only tend to just look at motivations at face value. They don't look at the context.
Yeah, they do not at all look at the context behind Denji thinking those things, because it goes beyond that. Like, once that happens, literally, once he gets it and he's like, that's it? Shit. I'm having an existential crisis. And then you get character development from there.
Well, see, then I clearly didn't reach that point.
There you go. Then you didn't even get... That was like chapter 12.
Oh, well, maybe I didn't even read that far. I just say 20 odd because I forget. I read it when it first came out, and I was reading it for a few weeks.
Didn't you? I caught up to it when there were almost 70 chapters.
Okay, see, I was reading it when it first came out, and I really liked the first chapter.
First chapter,
but I did not like what happened sort of afterwards. So then I kept reading, and I was disinterested, and then I, sort of tailed off.
I caught up with Chainsaw Man during a certain tragic fight that Misc knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
A certain
that hurt a lot.
Alright,
man, that whole section there were like a few weeks there in a row where I'm like, damn, I don't have the will to go on.
Yeah, I'm so happy
and
that
not because the writing was bad, but because the writing was really good.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm like, looking back at that time where I caught up to the series, and then the ending came around and right at the corner. I'm like, I'm so glad
the
it's not
snowball
over.
fight,
I'm so
bruh.
glad that this is only the end of part 1. There's more to come, and I'm like, yes.
Thank
Because I
God.
actually feel like,
Thank God there's more to come, because they introduced things earlier on, before the end, that were not fleshed out. They were just kind of mentioned as existing. So, it's like, shit, you've still got stuff that you need to address, Fujimoto. There better be more Chainsaw Man here. And there are. There is, at some point, I don't know. He just came out with a very good one-shot today. So, have you read that, Tenryu?
not yet, honestly.
I would recommend it. It's very good. Well, I don't know, very good. It's good. You kind of have to... It's not super obvious what Fujimoto is trying to say with it. You kind of have to, like, not take things super literally. There are a lot of things where he's kind of like telling a message. It's a little subtle. And if you don't get it, you can always find a few people who are much smarter than us talking about it, and you'll be like, oh, it all makes sense. Very good.
How can there be people smarter than me? I'm a Hunter x Hunter fan.
Yeah, I'm a Hunter. I've read all of Hunter x Hunter. How can anybody be smarter than me?
Exactly. Hunter x Hunter fans are the most elitist shit ever. They're like, oh, Hunter x Hunter is the only advanced battle shonen. It's for adults.
Dude, it subverts all the shonen tropes. It's soft seinen.
Yeah, man, these people fucking suck. I swear.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love when people take demographics and try to apply it as though it's a genre. It makes me happy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't have much else to say about One Piece. Shanks is probably my favorite character so far.
That's a good opinion so far.
Yeah, with one chapter. I mean, listen, it's just an arm. It's fine because you're still alive. That's how you get me to like a character.
That man jumped in the water, grabbed him, fucking stared down a sea monster, and went, "It's just an arm. I don't give a fuck."
Man, what a fucking Chad! I swear.
That is a big Chad move. That is a.
It is that Chad move. And I mean, Miss, you clearly know that Shanks is involved in the story.
Because you've mentioned it, and I think you mentioned on one occasion, like, oh, character, I think it was during a Tokyo Ghoul stream, where it's like, character gets introduced at the start of the story not being particularly strong, and then later on in the story they're apparently top tier or some shit, and there's not really a good explanation for that, such as, how the fuck did Shanks lose an arm?
Exactly, and which honestly is a little, alright, without spoiling you, there's a little bit of retconning in One Piece. It's been going on for 21 years, and not just about that, but in general, there is a little
retconning. I know hockey has not even been fucking so much as mentioned. They
No,
mentioned
and
it
it
to like
won't
300
be.
chapters in, right? Or even more.
Right, exactly. Hockey exists, but it's not
Called hockey.
Yeah. There's issues, and you'll see them when you catch up and stuff. But at the end of the day, I think Oda did a good job explaining the certain things as best as you can do when you know you have to retcon. If you know you have to retcon, at least be legitimate about it and try your best to make it work. And I think Oda does the best he can do.
This is what I want to say about Shanks. He's like the shark from Jaws or like Godzilla in the 2014 movie. He doesn't show up too much, but when he does, it's the hypest shit ever. Literally. It's not a spoiler. It's not a spoiler, but it's the truth. Whenever he does show up in the story, it's like, okay, it's time to get hyped, people. He can literally be shown just eating an ice cream, and people are going to call it a 10 out of 10 chapter.
Yeah, because you saw Shanks.
Shadow King is here, or was here. Oh, let me switch to live chat. I keep forgetting to do that. So, Shadow King says, hello everyone, welcome back to this week's review of... Oh wait, I'm not Misc. Haha. How are you doing, man? I'm doing quite well. Just tuning in. Have you guys read the previous manga by the Chainsaw Man author? It's awesome. I have not read Fire Punch. I've heard very conflicting opinions on Fire Punch. I've heard some people say it's Kino 10 out of 10, and other people say it's hot fucking garbage. I haven't heard much in between.
It's the same with Zombie Powder by Kubo. Some people really like Zombie Powder. I thought it was good, but a lot of people
think it's atrocious.
Right. Yeah. So.
No, but I did just read his one-shot today, and my god, does Fujimoto have range. Actually, Chainsaw Man should have made me realize he has range. Like, the range between, like, I don't know, chapter 39 and chapter 51 is so fucking big, the tones of those chapters. The difference in tone is so massive that I don't know why I forgot that Fujimoto has ridiculous range in terms of what he can write. But yeah, he can write some real serious shit if he feels like it, and boy did he. That was a good one-shot. I guess that's what he's been doing since part 1 ended, was writing it, because that's a whole that's 140 pages. It's a whole volume length. And it's pretty interesting. I've heard that a lot of other mangaka have been praising it because of what it's about, and I understand why. It's a very, very interesting message, and I really like it. You know what? If not for anything, I very much like the kind of message and story that he was telling with it. So I'm very excited for when part 2 comes out. I'm quite excited. It seems like a lot of it's even about, like, there seems to be basically referencing his own writing of Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, I think the anime is gonna come out before part 2, honestly.
Maybe. We're gonna see. I think he said he was gonna start it this year, but I don't know if he meant, like, start writing it or start releasing it this year.
Well, yeah, that is a big difference, actually. Yeah, man, like I said, it's really sad that we didn't get to see Denji in a Jump cover alongside the other established Shonen Jump protagonists. That's really depressing.
I mean, maybe we got, like, one? I don't know. Well, he appeared in a chapter of My Hero Academia, so we'll have to settle for that. Skin says, I feel like when the anime hits, people are going to misinterpret Denji's character. Did I already read this? I don't remember. But yeah, there's like one scene towards the end of part 1 that is going to get misinterpreted to shit because people are only doing surface level reading. They're not paying attention to the context at all.
Yeah, all that matters is the fucking Sakuga, man. The animation.
My Sakuga. You 16-year-old boy, you want to get a girlfriend, and you've been living in fucking abject poverty your whole life. What a sim.
Man, fuck these people, seriously.
Fuck these fucking people.
These are the same people that misinterpret Thorfinn from Vinland Saga. Oh, why doesn't he just kill him? He's so bent on revenge, but he doesn't just kill him. Are you analyzing the context of the setting, the Viking mentality that in battle there's honor? I had to do things through battle and not just revenge in cowardly ways. These are the same people that are gonna misinterpret Denji.
Yeah,
I swear.
Like I talk about it in my video. In short, Denji is a teenager. He acts like a teenager if they grew up in abject poverty and then, you know, the other stuff that happens. Like, beyond, like, the super ridiculous shit, he does stuff, or his thought process is like, oh shit, I've done that, or I've thought that, or I know people who've done that. It's like one of the most realistic teenage protagonists I've ever read. He's a great main character.
Yeah, like, Denji's a beautiful example of simplicity at its finest. He has simple motivations, but when you see the context, that's what makes it so powerful. But people don't realize that.
Yeah, Rat says I can relate to Denji a lot. He is probably the most relatable shonen protagonist I've seen, because he doesn't have, like, any big, huge goals. His big goal is doing shit that most horny teenage boys want to do.
Pretty much. I mean,
yeah, like,
and just having a goal doesn't make you a great character. Look at Ash from Pokemon. He has a great goal: be the Pokemon master. He's a shitty character.
Oof. I mean, I haven't watched Pokemon, so I wouldn't know. But...
Oh, okay, that's fine.
I may have mentioned this a few times, but I never really grew up with a lot of like more basically. If a show had a weird title, I probably didn't watch it as a kid. If it sounded weird, like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, not even like anime, like fucking, I don't know, Amazing World of Gumball. I didn't watch that shit because I remember like I'm very easily influenced by the people around me, and I'm much more so when I was a kid. So when we'd be like watching TV or some shit, we'd be watching, I don't know, something on Cartoon Network, and they'd have a commercial for like The Amazing World of Gumball or Adventure Time, and one of my parents would be like, that looks really stupid, and I'd be like, damn, guess we're not watching that then.
Dude, I actually remember judging Amazing World of Gumball by its first few episodes and its like art style and everything, how everything looks so different, the characters look so different from each other, and I'm like, this is fucking stupid. But then when I watched like later episodes, I'm like, this is actually funny. Holy shit, I guess they were just trying to find their footing. It happens. Not every show has the same style of humor that it does later on. Even SpongeBob is guilty of this. Like the first season, in terms of comedy, is not the same as in season 2 and 3. It evolves massively. Like season 1 is still good. It's still good.
I've watched a few episodes of Gumball. It's a great show. It's a very good show. It's extremely entertaining.
And that's not even the best Cartoon Network show from the 2010s. I mean, I think that was Regular Show, honestly. That's
I haven't seen... Yeah, I think Regular Show is another one. Because, like, just random shit happens in it. At least in the commercials, that's how they advertise it. They advertise it as being very silly and dumb and wacky, and I mean, it kind of is. But for some reason, my parents are always like, that looks stupid as shit. Maybe not that. They weren't cursing like that, because I was like 7 or 8 at the time, but...
I actually remember watching the promotions for a Regular Show, and I'm like, oh, it's a show about a blue jay and a raccoon. Fucking garbage. Look, Cartoon Network is dead at this point, but when you watch the actual show, holy shit, this is fucking funny.
I need to watch Adventure Time at some point. I really need to watch Adventure Time.
They have humor that is aimed at teenagers and everything. Like, for example, they say crap, and they actually have a shot where Mordecai is staring at Margaret's ass, and I'm like, this is not
really?
Yes! This is not
that's amazing. This sounds like the best thing to ever air on the fucking network.
Yeah, man. Like Adventure Time and Regular Show, they helped save Cartoon Network in the 2010s or like late 2000s.
They need to put Adventure Time on Netflix. I would watch that in a fucking heartbeat.
I actually started watching it again. I didn't really watch too much Adventure Time, but I did watch enough where I'm like, okay, yeah, this is actually pretty interesting and creative. I actually like the world they live in.
Let's see.
But yeah, you clearly grew up more with the 2000s shows than the 90s ones.
A little bit. I think the most out there thing I ever watched was, in terms of animation, Gravity Falls, and like just in terms of like dumb anime bullshit, the closest thing to an anime I watched as a kid was Power Rangers. Now, to be fair, Power Rangers is pretty anime at times, so
yeah,
it's basically
Japanese
a mecha anime half the time.
Yeah, because the thing with Power Rangers is that it's actually adapted from like a Japanese show. They just take footage from that Japanese show and they combine it with American footage.
Really?
So basically, it's a very interesting way to save money. Like
I had no idea about that. That's amazing.
Yeah, like the footage where they're in their costumes and they're fighting the monsters, that's actually from the original Japanese show. Not all of it, but most of it is. But when there's like, it's just the humans in their daily lives and everything, yeah, that's American. They had to film new scenes in order to complement the Japanese ones. And speaking of Gravity Falls, like that's one of my favorite American cartoons of all time. Like Bill Cipher alone makes it S tier. He's one of the best villains ever.
Oh yeah, Bill Cipher is a fantastic villain. He's both. He's creepy. He has good writing, and he's entertaining.
Like, I actually thought about this like last year. Bill Cipher is an overpowered final antagonist done better than most battle shonen anime and manga. I'm not even exaggerating. He was done better. He was overpowered, but he was still a good character.
Rat says, on an episode of Gumball, inanimate objects took over in reversed roles and Darn was used as a pencil sharpener and got a pencil shoved up his ass.
Gumball is a show where anything can happen.
That sounds amazing. Not getting a pencil shoved up his ass, but like from the fact that this was put on Cartoon Network is so fucking funny to me. Shadow King says about Fire Punch, I personally liked it. It's more abstract, like how Devilman Crybaby ended up. Not for everyone's palate. Yeah, I guess. We'll maybe one day I'll read Fire Punch. Maybe.
Yeah, I haven't seen Devilman Crybaby either.
Yeah, I haven't watched that either. Well, that's on Netflix, so I will probably maybe end up watching that at some point. I've heard from other people it's very good, but I've also heard it's pretty depressing, and I generally don't like being depressed by the end of things, so...
Oh, then go watch BoJack Horseman then.
Oh yeah, the one shot was pretty nice. Yes, it was. It reminds me of how excited I am for Chainsaw Man Part 2, because I'm reminded that yes, Fujimoto is a very good author. He's very good. I feel... Does Fujimoto not like his own art? Has he mentioned that before? I feel like he has. I almost feel like that one line from the one-shot is meant to be him. Because it's very clearly that Fujimoto is inserting himself as some of the characters. And one of them's like, I don't like my own art. I think my own art fucking sucks. I just let the editors do the backgrounds and shit. Or my assistants do the backgrounds. I wonder how much of that was, how much of that is something that Fujimoto actually feels about his own work?
He seems self-aware, so I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, yeah, my artwork isn't the best, but I'll compensate for story.
Yeah.
And actually, his colored pages actually look very good. Like the cover pages.
Fujimoto has great color pages.
Yeah, they look amazing. But when it's just actual just raw art, it's like, it's not horrible or anything, but it's not as polished as a lot of other competitors.
Though he does have sometimes. There are some moments in Chainsaw Man where it's just like, goddamn, that is fucking fantastic. Like the Gun Devil, holy shit, I can't imagine drawing that. I would have a mental breakdown if I tried to draw that fucking thing.
Yeah, and his paneling is very good also.
Fujimoto's fantastic at paneling. Oh my god. You remember the thing when Aki was fighting Katana Man and he was using the curse spike and you had the finger coming off the panel and flicking him?
No, I remember more the one where he was throwing a snowball at Denji's head. That's the one that I was thinking of, but I don't remember the Katana Man scene.
Yeah, if you go back, I wonder how they're gonna adapt that for the anime. I don't even know how the fuck they're gonna do that. Like, it just shows up on screen, because a big part of it is it's like, oh yeah, this is a manga, so I'm gonna have this finger come from outside the panel off the screen to flick into the panel. I don't know how you do that for an anime. Yes, Darkness. Darkness Devil is the best sequence in the series.
Oh my god, man. That's one of the reasons why I was like, there's no way this is over. They have to continue the story because there's still some things that we haven't really explored.
They introduced the concept of the Primal Fear Devils.
Yeah, people always
show more of them. You have to show us more. You can't just introduce one of them and be like, alright guys, that's all.
Nah, man. I'm so glad they're gonna continue this because there's so much more to be explored.
Listen, on the topic of Toriko, if they introduce, like, they've mentioned the Four Horsemen, we know there are other Primal Fears, I think you could do probably not the same level of hype, because Chainsaw Man's not like Toriko in that regard.
Yeah.
But my god, could you do some fucking awesome shit with them.
Yeah,
I
it's
imagine a lot of them aren't gonna be scary like the Darkness Devil, which is weird to think about because they're created from fear and devils feed on fear. But you could do really badass shit. Like the Gun Devil was badass as fuck. It was like awe-inspiring how crazy it was.
Man, I wonder what other Primal Fears they could do.
Death.
Like, people are... The Needle Devil? People are afraid of needles, so maybe they could do something with that?
Not everyone is afraid of needles. I think by primal, they mean, like, people have an instinctual aversion to the dark.
Yeah.
Things that are, like, survival instinct fears. Fear of the dark is something that people have been afraid of since they were fucking cavemen.
You have the three primal fears are considered terror, despair, and I forget the third one.
Are those fears? One of them's literally fear. I think those are like negative emotions. The three primal negative emotions. If we're talking fears here, the big one's death. Because to some extent, everyone's afraid of dying.
You have fear of the dark. You have fear of the unknown, which is part of the fear of the dark. That's one that I think
they're definitely gonna have. I don't know what he's gonna do with that one because he always gets crazy with the devil designs.
And remember that fear of the dark comes from the fact that you can't see in the dark. You're blind. Right.
And
because
you know what?
You turn on the.
Listen, as a racist short story author once said, the oldest and greatest fear known to mankind is fear of the unknown. Yeah. You know what? That thing should probably be like top one, because all other fears in some way or another, or the big fears, all originate from that. Why are you afraid of the dark? Because you don't know what's in there. Why are you afraid of dying? Because you don't know what happens after you die.
Every single thing. Look, literally, I don't want to get too political here or anything, but look, the reason that it was like, oh, why are people from Africa have dark skin? They were afraid. It's all fear-based. Slavery was fear-based.
Called
racism is fear-based. Everything is.
There you go.
Exactly. You're afraid because you don't understand it. If you understood it, that's why, like, the further you go back in history, look at all the great scientists that were persecuted by the church, by their country, by whatever, because they understood gravity, science, whatever, and nobody else, but they thought it was the gods or what have you, and they were afraid. But, like, because they don't understand it.
Yeah. Oh, that makes me excited. I can't wait to see what we get in part 2. I'm so fucking... listen, I was already very excited for the character stuff, because I wanted to see what's happening with various character arcs and characters who are still around by the end of part 1. Because I figure if they're still around, we're going to use them in some way, if they were at all significant. But also that, like, we know there are other big devils out there. Like, the concept of the 4 horsemen was introduced. We didn't see anything from it. We know we're going to be going back to hell again at some point. We're going to be going back there. So, we're going to meet more big fucking terrifying devils. So, I'm very excited for that. Man, we got kind of sidetracked there. What were we talking about?
Yeah, okay. I think the previous topic was just cartoons in general, and then we went to talk about Chainsaw Man.
Oh, yeah. I'll get back to the chat. Whatever. Saya says you won't reread Fire Punch if you read it once. I'm not sure. I think I get what you're saying. I think I understand what you mean by that. It's one of those things that you're not going to want to read again. Not because it's bad, but because you just don't want to experience it again. Like watching a really depressing movie. Even if it's like the best written movie ever. If that thing's as depressing as anything you've ever seen, then it's like, why would I want to get depressed again? I'm not going to watch the movie.
Or watching the one with the twist. You know, like
or
watching
one with a big twist. Now there's no twist.
Yeah, you watch a 2-hour movie. It's a really good movie because of the main twist, and you didn't see it coming. Well, when you watch the movie again, you might, as a film critic, you might be able to go, there's the hidden meanings the whole time that I missed. But outside of 2 watches, are you gonna watch it a third? No, probably not.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's see. Saya says wanting to feel new things equals simp. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm... It's not just that. It's the deprivation leading to an increased desire for these things that people don't get. And then the fact that Makima takes advantage of this makes her all the more despicable. Artist says, I remember watching Adventure Time and Regular Show on Monday nights growing up. Need to rewatch soon. So you had your specific show you watched during a day of the week. I remember for me, Star Wars The Clone Wars was my shit growing up. That was my fucking childhood TV show. I love Star Wars The Clone Wars. It is so fucking good. It was... I
am so fucking old. I remember when episode 1 came out.
Oh my god.
I went to theaters as a 9-year-old when episode 1 came out. So I grew up with Pokemon, ladies and gentlemen, and
Yeah.
Beast Wars.
Listen. Staying up late Friday nights and then like after breakfast on Saturday mornings watching Star Wars: The Clone Wars was so good. It was such a wonderful experience. That was like the highlight of my childhood.
I miss Saturday morning cartoons. They're not the
Science says, too bad Western cartoons are becoming way too woke. Listen, some are really fucking bad, right? Like, badly written. I've heard Steven Universe gets bad as fuck. Like, just gets terrible the further it goes on. But I've seen other ones that are good. I don't think there's an issue with letting kids know that gay people exist. Like, oh no, well, what the fuck do you want? They're gonna find out eventually. You might as well give a positive message. Good God. I see the word woke get thrown around too much. When I hear people use the word woke, I'm like, I feel like we value different things. Because I rarely use the word woke in a serious context. Because I don't fucking care about culture war bullshit. So, I don't care. I don't care about woke shit. Steampunk says, well, Power Rangers is taken from Super Sentai. Is that the Japanese original version of Power Rangers, Super Sentai?
That's correct.
I see. There's more Sentai teams than there are Rangers, but the Japanese do reference them in Go Busters. Interesting.
Yeah, the Super Sentai is Power Rangers, and a lot of the old footage that we watched growing up in the 90s, I forgot to mention that is one of the things that I grew up with. There's a lot of old footage from the Japanese Super Sentai, and then they would just replace it with English actors for all the other scenes.
Interesting.
Like Power Rangers during like its first 11 years, it was my favorite franchise of all time.
It was a very good franchise. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, Dragon Zord, Green Ranger. Oh yeah, that's my shit.
Yeah, and like the fights and the opening theme songs, like Power Rangers Zeo. That thing is too fucking epic. I swear.
I think
the Zeo theme song is fucking incredible.
I think the one Power Rangers series I watched the most was the ninja one with the one werewolf guy. I think that was the Power Rangers show that I watched like the whole thing when I was a kid.
Listen, you know what the sad thing is? Regardless of the bad acting, because remember, actually they did this smart, because what they didn't hire actors, they hired martial artists and gymnasts.
Oh god.
That's who they hired, so that in the live scenes, in the actual English live scenes, they could show the Power Rangers fighting.
Yeah.
Without stunt doubles, because they were already reusing footage of and they were dubbing over the old footage of them in the costumes.
Listen, when those fucking Power Rangers marathons came on, like Nicktoons or whatever, like a 3-day long marathon, and I watched the whole thing, I was like 6 or 7. I couldn't comprehend good or bad acting back then, so...
No, and I can still go back, like, I actually was rewatching some episodes, and I didn't give a fuck. You know why? Because it's the same thing. If you can't appreciate Adam West Batman cartoons, you won't appreciate Power Rangers in the same light. You have to understand the times, what they were doing, and you can actually still get hyped. Like the Green Candle arc in Mighty Morphin, which was from 96, is still a very emotional, well-done arc. It was a 3-episode arc at the end of season 2. It was handled extremely well. And I got zero problem with it. You know, I rewatched it as an adult, and I was like, I'm still like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
I vaguely remember what vague plot things do I remember from the Power Rangers? What does anyone remember what the Ninja Power Rangers series was called?
Well, Ninja Storm.
Storm. What vague things do I remember? I remember there was one dude that was like a fucking lizard guy, and he could keep regrowing from his fingers or whatever. I think in that same episode, the Red Ranger had to figure out how to use fucking nunchucks or something. Like, he just sucked at using them, so his whole arc for that episode was figuring out how to use nunchucks.
Here's the thing, the Ninja Rangers... Oh.
That's Jungle Fury.
That's Jungle Fury?
Yeah, that's Jungle Fury. I was
about to
Okay, that's the one that I watched the
Yeah.
shit out of as a kid.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the order is because I stopped watching around Wild Force. But the order goes Mighty Morphin, Zeo, then you have Lost Galaxy. You have Turbo after Zeo. Then you have Lost Galaxy. You have Space. You have Time Force. You have Lightspeed Rescue, and then you have Wild Force. And up until Wild Force, all of those storylines actually intertwined in some very, very vague ways. After Wild Force, it basically went off into Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, and all these other things, and I had no idea what was going on.
Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder. Those are the two that I think I remember the most from.
Dino Thunder included Jason David Frank, who played one of the original Rangers in Mighty Morphin.
Yeah, I forget which ones had the crossover episodes after that.
Yeah.
So we had the lizard guy. I think there was some fucking orange gorilla dude or some shit, like one of the villains. Like they had a bunch of it was Jungle Fury. They had a bunch of like animal themed bad guys that I all thought were like the coolest shit ever. At least back then, I could acknowledge who was a cool villain and who was lame as fuck. And at some point, there's just the main villain changes. Like they fucking awaken some ancient evil, and that guy becomes the new main antagonist.
Yeah, like that's the thing with Power Rangers. The villains look fucking awesome. People say they look cheesy, but I think they look badass.
Nah, they look fucking cool. They're like, they're fucking anime monsters in live action, okay? We spent like $10 on the costumes. They look cool.
Like, there are some goofy-looking villains, but there are a lot of other ones that look fucking amazing, like Lord Zed from the second season of Mighty Morphin. He is like if H.R. Geiger made a super villain. Linkara said that.
I don't know why, but in my mind, I think it was always the coolest thing where there would be the one episode where they resurrect, like, I don't know, half a dozen of the dead villains, and now you have to have different characters fight them again.
Yeah.
Did every Power Rangers have an episode like that? I remember Jungle Fury had one, because I know the fucking lizard guy came back at some point, and they brought a few other ones. Oh, wait, no! Yeah. It wasn't his fingers, it was some other dude's fucking fingers they used and resurrected a bunch of the dead villains, so then they had a bunch of... I don't remember if it was villain on villain fighting, or if you had to have, like, the individual Rangers fighting, a few of them. Did every Power Rangers do this? I feel like Power Rangers in theory is kind of really formulaic. Like every episode you have them fight the bad guy after they figure out his gimmick and then he turns huge, so then they have to do the Megazord and they fight him again.
Yeah, there are some seasons that are more serialized than others. For example, Power Rangers in Space actually did have an ongoing story. So it was less more formulaic than the previous seasons. But most of the seasons are very repetitive. Even if they're still fun to watch, yeah, they're not as... let's say story driven as some other shows.
I think Ninja
but they all combine
or Jungle Fury, I think that one had like an overarching plot, but they didn't really get into it much until later. They'd get into it occasionally, but for the most part it was like Monster of the Week stuff.
The thing is, here's just for a little history rundown, here's basically how it went, is that Mighty
Well, you're cutting out a little
3 seasons following roughly this... Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, pretty much, the original rundown was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers had 3 seasons. They followed the same basic plot line, right? It had some overarching stuff. It was good. Then Zeo happened as a result of the end of season 3. Then we went into Turbo, and things got a little off track. Then we had things like Lost Galaxy and stuff, which was like, okay, we're dealing with new Rangers. There's no connection. Then Space happens, and all of a sudden everything's connected again. And then we had Lightspeed Rescue and Time Force, which we thought, okay, now there's the new generation. This is the old. And then we had Wild Force, and then everything sort of started to come back again. That every Power Ranger Corps was connected. So I don't know what happened after Wild Force, honestly. Clearly, Dino Thunder needs to be in the mix because Tommy's there. But nonetheless, like, that's basically... Some series seem to be standalone until they decide, hey, it's all part of the Grand Master Plan.
Yeah. Well, that was an interesting tangent. I didn't expect to talk about Power Rangers tonight, and yet, that's what we're here for.
Well, you're learning something about us at the same
Hell
time. About our
yeah.
childhoods and everything.
Bulgarian Man says Gravity Falls was amazing. Can't say the same for the dub. What, you mean like the Bulgarian dub?
No, I think he's treating it like an anime.
Yeah. Saya says he doesn't like his fights. I assume he's referring to Fujimoto. I mean, his fight art is not bad. Like, his paneling is still amazing during his fights. I'd say the Bomb Girl fight is probably the best in the series, just from the perspective of art, choreography, paneling. Like, he makes it look like a fight that's happening at night. He does a great job with the lighting in that, like, sequence. It looks great. So, I guess you can't escape from being an artist. Even if you're a professional mangaka, you're gonna hate your work. It's just how it be as an artist. You hate everything you put to paper. Sean Watson says the primal fear devils. We have to explore hell. We have to go. We have to go and find the blood devil. Remember? So we're gonna go. Skin says Chainsaw Man is a series I wouldn't mind if it went for like 500 chapters. I mean, I wouldn't mind, but I don't think Chainsaw Man would ever get to 500 chapters. I don't think that it would need to be that long for the kind of story Fujimoto is telling.
Honestly, I don't see any other battles shonen, at least in the Weekly Shonen Jump magazine, ever reaching like over the 500 chapter mark. I think those days are over.
Yeah, probably. Let's see. Skin says, I think everyone agrees Chainsaw Man's a masterpiece. No, we don't agree on that. You have people who say it is, and then people that say it's overrated trash.
Yeah,
There's still, just because, listen, Skin, just because I hype Chainsaw Man, and a lot of the people who watch my stuff hype Chainsaw Man, because we've acknowledged the greatness, there are still a lot of people that fucking hate it. Or people where it's just not their thing. He also says, who's worse, Makima or Griffith? Griffith. Listen.
Yeah.
Listen, Makima is a terrible person. One of the worst. Like, in terms of, like, cruelty, she's up there, but still, like, at least a tier below Griffith.
Let's just agree that they're two of the best villains in manga, probably. I mean, Makima's
I think Makima was better before they revealed her motivations.
I can see that, but honestly, Makima, I know she's recent, but I think she's one of my favorite manga villains. I just really fucking love what they did with her, honestly.
Fujimoto loves his female villains, doesn't he? And he does a pretty good job with them, too.
But is she on the level of Juzo?
Who?
Oh, Griever. Oh, and you're not even gonna get to it. You're not even gonna get to it next stream. Fuck.
I'm gonna love this. As I said, the only redemption for that motherfucker is if he actually didn't do it.
No comment. I will make no comment on this topic.
Can't wait. It'll be a couple of Fridays. You gotta wait, miss. Maybe he'll be redeemed, but I don't fucking see it. So it's gonna be fun.
Well, here's the thing, Griever. No, you know what? No, I can't get into this. I can't. No, I'll be spoiling.
You
I
can't.
can't do anything. I can't
empower
this right
let
now.
me just ask you. Let me just ask you one thing. Do you believe, knowing my reaction in last Friday, do you believe that this motherfucker is redeemable? Knowing what you know and knowing what I don't know?
Yes.
It's just a simple yes.
Because I know.
Okay.
Griever, I have seen everything, so I know.
I know. That's why I'm asking you. It's simply yes or no. I'm not asking for spoilers. I'm asking for a yes or no, and you said yes. Okay. All right. I look forward to seeing it, but something's gotta happen to justify that.
By the way, it occurred to me, we've only got like 3 Tokyo Ghoul streams left, unless you're gonna do some really short ones. The end is coming soon.
Well, I didn't intend to do a short one last time, but
true.
But shit.
Even then it maybe would have been 4 actually. Let's see. How would it have worked if you went to 10? What did I say you do? 108.
You told me to go to 108, and now
actually,
this time
you could have done the same amount of chapters that we're going to be. Listen, we just have to compensate next week, okay? We just have to compensate a little next week.
All right. So what? You told me like 118 or something.
So if you end on, what did I tell you? Okay, so there are 2 chapters that both end on cliffhangers, but they're cliffhangers for different stuff. So 118 is a cliffhanger, and you're gonna be like, what? And you're gonna want to read the next chapter really badly. So then, if you do read the next chapter, that one also ends on a cliffhanger. For other stuff, but actually, I don't know how interested you'll be in it. It's a plot point that you're invested in right now. I'll let you know that. I'm not sure which one you're more invested in. We'll find out when we get there.
Well, what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to plan around that because that's 17 chapters.
Yeah,
that's a
big.
long fucking
That's
stream.
big.
That's a 5-hour
and there are
stream.
a lot of dialogue chapters. Fuck.
Yeah, like it's not a lot of fighting shit, I can assume. So like, fuck, that's 17 chapters. That's a 5-hour stream, so I gotta plan around that. I mean, I can get there, but I'm glad I know in advance. That's why I depend on you to tell me, hey, you're getting to this chapter, this stream. Fuck, you know. And unless anything happens like last week, which once again, the only reason I ended it was because
anything afterward you would have been dampened. You wouldn't have been able to have fun.
No, I could have zero fun. I sat in front of Skyrim with a pause menu for 45 minutes after that shit.
Oh my god.
It
ruined your night.
It ruined my night. I had no patience for anything. That shit hit home way deeper than it should have. That shit cut through my armor, and I was in no mood to deal with anything at that point. So
okay, remember, Griever, I know everything. I like Juzo, knowing everything.
Whoa. All right. Well, we won't get into it until I finish reading.
Because I know the truth.
Once again, if he didn't kill the animals, then I'm good. But if he did, there's no redemption on my end. And we'll see if
know the truth, and we will leave it at that.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
And we won't get to it for 2 weeks. Fuck.
Hey, at least you don't have to wait for me to get into Re.
Yeah,
apparently.
That's true. I don't have to wait for you to
You're
get
telling me it's going to happen before the end of the series, so here we go.
Thank God.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Hey, it's better than being a boring stream.
Yeah, I guess so. It is better than being bored.
Exactly. This shit's entertaining.
The best streams are the ones of regular Ragnarok.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Those have been the best streams. Oh, Tenryu, have we ever gotten your opinion? I know Griever doesn't like the most recent chapter. What did you think about it? Did you like it?
The regular Ragnarok chapter?
Yeah, with Hajin. What did you think? Do you like that twist? Do you not like it?
I'm mixed on the chapter, honestly. Hajun looks awesome. And I'm still glad to see that. I'm glad we saw Beelzebub. I agree that it's not the best design. Honestly, it could have been a lot better. And the thing is that the turn of events, it's just kind of questionable because I really wanted a straight out fight between Zero Fuku and Buddha. But we're not really getting that. Buddha has to fight someone different right now. And it's like, I wanted to see more of Zero Fuku, honestly, because I really liked him. He's one of the most sympathetic gods in the series, honestly.
I don't think this is the end for Zerafuku. I don't. Because I think if it was just, this big demon guy that Buddha can't see into the future of shows up, and they just fight each other, that'd be really boring. Like, as cool as it is in concept, it'd be really boring from a narrative perspective, so I still think Zero's gonna be irrelevant. We're going to try and save Zero. Extra hard now. Like, he's been redeemed, now we have to straight up save him. So it's a question of how does Buddha do that? Can Buddha do that?
Like, honestly, the thing is, I was really enjoying seeing Buddha interact with Zero Fuku because, characters are always enhanced by the people they interact with. So if Hajun is just like a one-dimensional villain or a god, it's like, he has to interact with Buddha now. It's like Buddha can't really show off the richness of his character by interacting with a god he saw before. Like, I know you're misguided and you're very depressed, very jealous of me, but I'm gonna lead you down the right path. That's what I wanted more of. And it's like, oh, Hajun is here. Hopefully he's not a brute. He's not a one-dimensional character. So yeah, that's my stance on this.
For the most
Round
part,
6 should be over. Round 6 should have been over. That's all I'm gonna say.
well, we'll see where it goes from here. I understand most people like the chapter. I like the chapter.
I know a lot of people liked it, but Misc, even you said because I was in your Record of Ragnarok discussion thing. It was only fucking you even said like the probably 2-3 more chapters to the end of round 6.
Yeah, this
Some
is the
people
third
want
act. This is the third act of the fight.
Yeah, some people want 5 to 7, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't even want this.
No,
Yeah,
it's not going.
I don't even want this round to go on.
We're following the Adam versus Zeus formula. This is Zeus goes into Adamus, and Adam's like, oh shit. This is that part of the fight. So we're gonna get like, well, Hajin's important, so we're gonna have to explain Hajin. So we'll get like 2 chapters out of this. Max.
We get
2 chapters max out of this.
If in 2 weeks, if our chapter is 40 pages long and it just explains that fucking guy, I'm gonna be like, oh my fuck.
Yeah, I'm just hoping
I'm
that
gonna hate life.
That feels so weird. That would feel so fucking strange from a pacing perspective. Because
this has been the weirdest.
In the context of the fight, like just from a very basic level, not talking about the narrative or the characters, Hajin's basically a transformation for Zerafuku. So doing a transformation and then going into backstory after the transformation would be so weird. That'd be a really weird thing to do from like a pacing perspective.
The only way they can fix this, in my mind, the only way they can fix this pacing is if then they jump into the Jack and Sasaki and stuff in the background doing some shit. And maybe they attack Beelzebub prematurely. Or something like that. Like some shit goes down where Brunhilde is like, yeah, this shit ain't right.
I think there are going to be people that are going to, like, even Heimdall's like, is the round still going on? Like, what the fuck's happening?
Yeah.
I guess this is technically an audience interference you were talking about.
Yeah, like, you know what pisses me off the most? Is not because this is one of the most entertaining fights. We knew it couldn't go on the 1v1 for so long. We needed, as you just pointed out, Misc, crowd interference. Something needed to change. And round 6 was different. It changed. But the problem is that they had a great change, and now they're sort of, in my mind, they're sort of squandering it. This ain't anything to do with Beelzebub. The fight ended in a very unique way that no fight has ended yet, and I feel like that should have been the end of the round.
Now here's the issue. It's a requirement that your opponent dies. So if Zerafuku gets knocked out, they're going to be like, well, do something, Buddha. And it's like, no. So you could have gone a different direction from there, I guess. Then you
you could have, or you could have said, hey, I'm taking the W anyways. And if, well, like, what's Zeus going to do if Zerafuku and Buddha both say, hey, this is a win for humanity? You know, like what's he supposed to do? Say, I'm going to kill Zerafuku myself? Like literally, in a crowd full of people, what is he supposed to say to that? If they say, hey, I give up.
Like, I guess surrendering is technically an option, because both Adam... And, like, Heracles literally offered to Jack, like, if you surrender now, I'll convince Zeus to let it happen, or something. So I guess there's, like, a level of... It's not in the rules, but, like, if the audience is fine with it, and it's, like, whatever...
Yeah, remember all the people in the Adam fight said, just stay down, stop and give up? They didn't want Adam to die. So, by that logic, the crowd believed that Adam could have basically waved the white flag.
Yeah. Okay, wait. I have a proposition for you, because Adam versus Zeus comparisons. How'd you feel about Adam versus Zeus if it just ended, like, after Fist that Surpassed Time? Like, that was the end of the fight.
Ooh... No.
See? Because, like, for me, that's when Adam versus Zeus becomes amazing. That's when it's a 10 out of 10 fight. Is after that is when it's the best part of the fight. So, we're going to have to see what happens here. Because when you look at what happened, this whole fight was basically just Buddha flexing on Zerafuku, almost zero difficulty.
Alright, Misc, you have a good argument, but I'm saying, like, you have a good argument, but it's the wrong fight to compare it to. Because
I
I
see.
believe that this fight is round 4 quality because it's about the backstories, it's about the emotions, it's not about the fight.
Right.
So Heracles versus Jack ended on the perfect note. It couldn't have ended better. It was perfect. Jack won, but Heracles won. It, like, in context, like, it was so three-dimensional storytelling. It was beautiful. And Buddha and Zerafuku, that was a win-win. Buddha acknowledged Zerafuku and being like, I actually, like, respect you. I like you.
You're a cool guy, Zerafuku.
What you tried to do, like, we have to read between the lines a little bit, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he's basically like, what you tried to do, you went about it wrong, but man, I respect you. I like you.
I respect
Let's
the
go
hustle,
grab
Zerafuku.
let's go grab a beer after this. Let's
Well, you're
throw
a
down.
child, so I guess we'd have to grab something else. But we'll go get a snack.
Well, true, but it's like let's throw our fists. Let's fight like men. Let's punch each other in the face like a true friend would do. Which, as I acknowledged in my own streams, I did that with my own friend. It's sort of like sometimes, guys, we don't need words. We need to fucking punch each other in the face a couple times, right?
Sometimes you just gotta smack each other up a little.
Exactly. You get it out. It was such a bromance moment. And it's so tarnished by the end of that chapter for me on a personal level that I'm just like, no, see, that was a good end to round 6. Like, round 6 was fuckery anyways because it's God versus God in the first place. Now we're seeing it's like, okay, now we're actually going to, like, a God, Buddha himself fought for humanity. Everyone said that Buddha was going to take the W. So what was wrong with ending the round here? All this is going to do, if Buddha wins, all this did was add bullshit on top of stuff that didn't need to happen, in my opinion. But maybe it becomes greater storyline later, but I don't really see it. All I see is the fact of the matter is that if Buddha wins this round, then all this did was just layer on. This is basically adding overtime to round 6. It was unnecessary. Round 6 was closed. We had beautiful backstories. The correlation between Buddha and Zerafuku was beautiful. It was well done. It reminded me of Heracles versus Jack. It was a great story. And it's over. It's done. The story was over. And now they're trying. It's like they're trying to. It's sort of like a penny pitcher being like, "Hey, we just sold a great product on Netflix. Let's get a season 2 in there, even though the story's over. Just because. Let's make a sequel. Let's make a this. Let's make a that. Just because it made us money." It feels like that. It feels like a money grubber. That's what extending this fight feels like. It doesn't feel hype. I'm not impressed.
I mean, I feel hyped, but I don't. That's a personal thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you guys are all feeling hyped, that's cool. I'm just saying that I'm not. You know?
No. I'm actually kind of on the fence. Like, for example, like I said, Hajun looks cool, but the thing is that if he doesn't really add anything to the dynamic between him and Buddha, it's like, oh, come on. That's just kind of boring. I really like seeing Buddha interact with
I feel
Zerafuku.
like if the fight ended with Buddha knocking out Zerafuku, you have to do another Buddha fight later. You have to, because it's Buddha low diffing another fighter, and that doesn't make for a super.
No,
as
I always
interesting as the dynamic was, it doesn't make for a super entertaining fight.
Agreed. I always thought that there have to be characters that have to have more fights. I don't think, for example, Zeus
is gonna fight again. I guarantee you there's gonna be another Zeus fight later. When everything goes to shit, when everything gets crazy, you're gonna have Zeus fighting again, you're gonna have Shiva fighting again, you're gonna have Thor fighting again, you're gonna have Kojiro fighting again, you're gonna have Jack fighting again. If Buddha wins, he's probably gonna fight again.
Like, I never minded Buddha never struggling against Zerafuku. I never expected it to happen because, well, it was kind of cool seeing, okay, the character on the human side is now the superior one. The god is the underdog. I always thought that was a really nice change of pace. Same with the backstory of Zerafuku. It actually involved Buddha himself. It's the most personal fight so far in Record of Ragnarok. Because, you know, the backstories, they're always very standalone. But this was the first backstory where, oh, okay, the other character in the fight is present in that backstory. So this fight had a lot of unique things going for it. So for them to bring in Hajun is honestly disappointing to an extent. Hopefully
you
they
see,
can turn it
when
on.
the fight, like when Zerafuku got introduced, what I figured was gonna happen was Zerafuku would be hacked as shit because misfortune or whatever. It seems like the authors are allergic to characters having magic powers, like beyond eyeball abilities. So yeah. So what I figured
That
what
is
would
true.
happen was that Zerafuku would be, as Griever describes it, would be like a Thor versus Lubu situation where Buddha has to go all out for one attack. So Zerafuku's like stacked all of the misfortune on Buddha or whatever. So Buddha goes fucking 100 type Bodhisattva, 1,000-arm deity, and then is like white demon, see you later, gives him like one poke and he fucking explodes or something. I figured that's how you get a mid to high diff victory for Buddha in this situation.
About that?
Where he goes all out for a second. That was based on right after Zerafuku is introduced. Then we get later into it, when we get their backstories, I'm like, well, I have no idea where this is going. I have no fucking idea.
One issue that I just have, Misc, is something that you said. It's a little what's the word I'm looking for? A little like hypocritical.
Ooh.
Because you said like I forget exactly what it was because I didn't want to interrupt, but it was like you said something about Buddha ending the fight like prematurely like that. It's like, well, then we'd have to see Buddha fight again. But by that logic, we all want to see Zeus and Thor, and you even said like we're gonna see Zeus.
Yeah.
We're gonna see Zeus fight again. We got to see Thor fight again. We want to see Sasuke and Jack involved in a fight again, like whether it's part of the arena or not. So it's like, well, then Buddha, by that logic, can knock out Zerafuku and still be in a future fight. Because we all assume we're gonna see Zeus again. We all assume Thor was almost mistreated as being in the first round in that logic. We got to see Thor again. You know, like there's just no question. We got to see Sasuke again. There's no question. That's why they're sort of doing that in the interim between the rounds.
That's true.
Yeah.
So like I don't. Once again, that's just my argument why round 6 should be over. But I still think it makes sense.
What would happen is you would basically get the opinion from a lot of the fan base where it's like, well, that was boring, because a lot of people don't appreciate the writing. So I understand from the perspective of like the authors that like you gotta add some more drama into this. You can't just have it where like Buddha just flexes on Zerafuku the whole time and then like knocks him out, low difficulty fight. You gotta have a little more drama.
You know what I don't. Well, I mean, I agree with your logic that a lot of people are stupid and they wouldn't get it.
That's true. Yeah.
But also, the fact of the matter is that would make it more realistic. Are you telling me that every single matchup between humanity and gods is supposed to be fucking even? Like a 50-50, who's going to win? You got to be fucking kidding me. You're telling me that if Adam had gone up against any of the other gods other than Zeus pinch hit for a reason because he said, holy fuck, this is stacked against us. He didn't say it. We saw it in the manga. That's why he did it. You know, so, like, these fights are not meant to, like, they're trying to stack the deck. Brunhilde and the gods, they're trying to stack the deck in their favor. So it would make total sense that the gods wouldn't see this coming. Buddha flips sides and beats the living shit out of one of the gods. It literally, storytelling-wise, it actually makes more sense that this is the end of round 6. Not that, oh my god, Zerafuku was a badass the entire time. Because what human would have fought him then? If Buddha's future sight doesn't work against this Hajun fucker, what human was supposed to fight this guy? You know, like, it doesn't make, like, logically speaking, from a storytelling perspective, it made sense to end round 6 at this point for a number of reasons, multiple reasons. And at this point, once again, I feel like it's almost a money grab. Like, we're cashing in. It wasn't, as you said, Miss, it wasn't exciting enough for the meatheads. So we got to add some flair. And I'm like, at this point in the story, we're 50 chapters in. I think it's time that we just said, fuck yeah. If you like the gladiator fights, fantastic. But we are still about story in this manga. We brought you in here for the meatheads, but you stay for the story.
True.
You know.
Absolutely. Because honestly, yeah, regular Ragnarok is really one of those things that really surprised me with how much substance it actually has. It's not just about meatheads fighting each other. There is actual heart to the story. The core of the story is the conflict between the gods and the humans. Basically, the worth of humanity. That's the whole point of the tournament. That we have to decide if humanity is worth keeping around, and they have to prove that through the backstories and the actions of the human fighters. And we get to
Bob,
see the
by the way, I see you're here. If you want to join the VC, I realized you didn't have the podcast role, so you can hop in if you want, or if you can.
So yeah, it's exploring the dichotomy between the gods and the humans. Sometimes we have the gods and the humans be similar to each other. Like for example, Thor versus Lubu, where they both have the same desire. They want to fight someone that's equal to them or worthy opponent. But then we can have something like Sasaki versus Poseidon, where they're very different. They have very conflicting ideologies. Poseidon is about perfection. Sasaki is about self-improvement, not perfection. We get to see that constantly in the story. So that's the whole point of Record of Ragnarok. If people haven't gotten that already, they're not reading the series. It's not just about cool fights. It's about deciding whether humans are really worth keeping around as a species.
Well put, well put. Now, time for me to get back to the chat. Oh, hey Bob, what's up?
Hey.
Alright, I'll read
But
the chat. Or
if
do you
I'm
want
not
to address
mistaken-
this topic, Bob?
I was just gonna mention, if I'm not mistaken, Zorofuku wasn't actually supposed to be in the fights.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Bishamonten, and then when Buddha showed up, they were like, well, guess we're gonna pull out Zorofuku.
Well, but that was sort of planned from the beginning, if we remember. So.
I guess the plan was, oh, yeah, I guess Buddha is betraying us, so we'll have
Remember, this
Bishamonten
is
and the rest of the gods unite.
This is some OC shit. Basically, they're saying that the 7 lucky gods, Bishamonten being their leader, and he was representing them, but they basically said, oh, well, the 7 lucky gods actually fused to combine into one spirit. Or they were always one person, so... I guess anybody that he would have went up against would have, you know... And hello, fellow Canadian Bob.
Hello.
Alright.
Anyway,
have a
Misc,
look
back
see
to the
what's
chat.
Chat here. Artist says Clone Wars on Fridays were lit. You fucking know it was. Man, the finale was so good. The super finale. The finale of the final season was excellent. It was everything I wanted. They basically did a fucking movie. It was like doing Revenge of the Sith Part 2. It was fantastic.
I'd fucking praise.
Yeah. Skin says the Clone Wars really did save the prequels to a certain extent. Yeah, the Clone Wars retroactively...
Oh, no, it
the prequels
really
were
did.
I'm the only one who actually liked the prequels growing up, apparently, and I still like them to this day, but what do I know?
I always loved Phantom Menace as a kid. I never liked Attack of the Clones, and I did like Revenge of the Sith. That's my stance on the prequels as a kid.
I liked them
Even
when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I loved the prequels. I liked
Yeah.
them more than the
Good, I
sequel,
loved
than the original trilogy when I was a kid.
And do you guys remember those old Samurai Jack style mini
I
cartoon?
did not find out about those until way after the fact. Like, when was this? Like,
Oh,
2015, 16? I found out about the old Clone Wars. They have like the whole thing on YouTube. If they didn't, take it
You
down.
didn't see the old Clone Wars? That's
No,
what
it was,
I watched.
It came out in like 2003. I was like 1 year old when
That's
it came
where
out.
Asija Ventress was introduced in that,
Yeah,
man.
that was when that was when they started the whole Clone Wars multimedia project.
Yep,
Everything branched
I
off from
am,
that.
and it made so much sense because my dad even asked me when we went to Revenge of the Sith back in 2005.
And he was
or
like,
whatever
"Why
the
didn't they
fuck-
show up?"
No, it wasn't that. It was he said, "Why is that fucking general coughing and stuff?" I was like, "Oh, because Mace Force crushed him."
Yeah.
You know, because that was shown in the 2D thing. You know,
Yeah,
and
like,
it made
watching it after the fact, I was like, "Holy shit! This lines up. This connects the two movies so well. It's unreal."
that was their job back then, and it was so well done. I really like the 2D one. I haven't watched all of the 3D one, but I did really love the 2D
I mean, the 2D one, for what it is, there's much less of it than there is of the 3D one. It's amazing. It's perfect.
The 2D one is a lot of good action, and it made me love both Mace Windu and General Grievous. The 3D one has a lot of good story. Also, I'm just gonna say it isn't all perfect.
Oh yeah, the first season is not good. At least in terms of an animation perspective, it's not good. Because they were getting into it. That was when they were first starting off. They didn't have a lot of fun.
The pilot episode turned into a quote-unquote movie?
Yeah.
Wasn't in the first season... Because I was trying to watch the first season because everybody told me to. Wasn't that the one where like R2 was like kidnapped and Anakin was going after?
Of the first season.
Yeah, I didn't mind that so much. What bothered me about that was Obi-Wan's attitude towards R2 because it does not link up with Obi-Wan's attitude towards droids for the entirety of the series, movies, and otherwise.
Yeah.
It did not add up that he was like, oh, well, no, it doesn't fucking matter. These droids have been with us 20 years, but that fucking sentimentality doesn't matter. It's like, that's really cool. That's a Mace Windu thing. That's not an Obi-Wan thing. It did make sense. But I did like the episodes with Yoda and stuff. I only watched like 7 episodes, but I really liked them. I thought that the first season was actually pretty good.
The first season is like our many anime discussions. They did not have a lot of expertise or money or resources or probably much time when it came to doing the first season. So the animation in the first season is not very good. It gets much better in the second season. It gets way more fluid the further the series goes on, as they got more practice, more time, more money going on. I guess the technology improved too.
Well, that's
gets better and better as the show goes on.
So basically, you're telling me that Jon Favreau got his hands on it and made it amazing.
I think
that's what he does with everything, apparently.
Everyone thinks? Why am I forgetting Dave Filoni? Everyone praises Dave Filoni as like the fucking savior of Star Wars. I guess now it's Jon Favreau because of The Mandalorian and such.
No, both. But that's the thing that people don't realize. They worked together for the last like decade. It's not just Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau working independent. They work together.
Yeah.
There's nobody realized that. Like, they created The Mandalorian sort of as a happy project between them. Like,
listen, guys, I have a very not hot take. You won't get this yet, Griever, but like the fucking Battle of Umbara is by far the best arc in the Clone Wars. There may be like a few that are a bit better, like the hey Griever, did you ever watch Solo?
I saw parts of Solo, and the parts I saw I didn't mind, but I never watched the whole thing.
Do you know what character makes a cameo in Solo?
No.
Okay, we're not gonna talk about that. So okay, how do I say this in a non-spoilery way? The Mandalore arc from season 5 is very good. Also, and then the final arc from the last season, I guess, and then also the Yoda arc from season 6. So there are a few, but the Battle of Umbara is like by far, looking back, my favorite arc in all of Clone Wars. It's so good.
I'll just deafen myself for about.
No,
5 minutes.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm not gonna.
Oh, okay.
I just realized you may be one of the few people I've met in years that doesn't know some of the stuff that happens in Clone Wars.
No, it's because I've been trying my best to keep up with Star Wars, and I was keeping up with Star Wars back when I think, Misc, you were probably still a baby.
Probably.
But at the end of the day, there was so much shit, and then all of a sudden, Disney told me everything I ever learned was wrong.
It's not canon.
Yeah.
I would have preferred that, like, Clone Wars is not Legends canon. Leave the old multimedia project in Legends, let that be its own thing, and have Clone Wars be Disney canon. Because there are a lot of things in Clone Wars that retcon the old Clone Wars.
Yeah,
Clone Wars isn't Disney canon.
Or the Clone Wars, not the fucking specify. 3D Clone Wars is in Disney canon.
No, I mean it is.
Yeah. They should have had it just be Disney canon and not be Legends canon.
It is in Disney's canon.
But it's in both, is what
Yeah,
Misc
it's in
is trying to
both.
say.
It's a little weird.
It's technically
Well,
in both. Dude,
because
that's
it
the
was
problem.
before they bought it.
Yeah, because it was before they bought it. They have this weird thing where there are varying levels of canon. I forget what the fucking the system is for it, but basically, if George Lucas worked on it directly, it's canon. It's undeniably canon.
then literally nothing outside of the first 6 movies are canon.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's
by
why all
that
that
logic.
stuff is legends now.
Yeah, Lucas didn't direct Empire Strikes Back and New Hope. He didn't direct them. Only
No,
the
but
first
but he was a writer, so
Yeah,
that's
so
what they're trying to
They,
say.
like, I think even before Disney bought it, when it came to writing new material, they're like, listen, you can retcon it, because this is like some fucking book from 20 years ago that 10 people have read, so you can retcon it.
What? And don't get me wrong, there were things in Legends I didn't like.
Oh, there is plenty of stupid shit in Legends.
But you're trying to take away the entire new Jedi Order, all the shit, and go figure. Look, Disney goes, hey, we can do this better, because they're like, Mara Jade and Jack and Solo and all this shit, and then they butchered it, like. And it's not, and you know what I hate, though, is Star Wars fans. It's just like any toxic fan base, anything that's big enough.
Listen,
is the
Star
fact
Wars
that,
fans suck.
Yeah, because all they did was complain about, like, Rey and Finn and Rose, and all they butchered the actors, but it's like, dude, was their
job. That's not the thing to focus on, you fucking morons.
Yes.
Yeah, who you blame? You blame Rian Johnson. You blame J.J. Abrams. You blame Disney.
Listen,
you don't
guys,
blame
you're
the
not
actors.
a real Star Wars fan unless you only like 4 of the movies. You have to hate the other 5 or you're not a real Star Wars fan. I don't make the rules. That's just how it be.
I mean,
in order to be a
I'll tell you
Star
right
Wars
now,
fan, you have to hate the
What
majority
4
of the
movies you have to like?
You know what I do like? I do like Rise of Skywalker. People don't like it.
I had that was the most ambivalent I have ever been watching a movie. I got out of it and I was like, I don't think I emoted. I emoted like one time in that whole movie. What the fuck was that?
You know why I tell you why I liked it? Was
Why did you
because
like
it made more sense than The Last Jedi completely. In the first
that
5
was the
minutes.
standard?
Yeah, the standard is that I went to The Last Jedi. I was supposed to be blown away. I was finally getting, because you got to remember, once again, I
everyone
was born
waiting like 30 years.
I've been waiting years to see Mark Hamill, not in a video game, not in anything else. I've been waiting to see Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker be a Jedi Master. Do the shit that, like, the fight Anakin versus Obi-Wan level lightsaber fight. I've been waiting for that shit my entire life. Literally my entire life.
God
and
damn.
Then they gave me The Last Jedi. And I was like,
I'm so sorry for you, man.
yeah, you should be. And so The Mandalorian fixed it, and Mark Hamill was happy as fuck to do it. Of course he was, because he's fucking Mark Hamill. But they, like, that's the problem. So when I went into Rise of Skywalker and they didn't try to pull that shit, and then they showed, and then Luke, they sort of changed his attitude. He rose the fucking, he was like catching lightsaber, what the hell are you doing? And he rose the X-Wing out of the water just as a nod to Empire Strikes Back when he couldn't do it and stuff. I was like, this is the type of shit, we needed simple scenes like this. It wasn't hard. It was not difficult to make The Last Jedi an amazing movie. Rian Johnson just went, hey, Robert Downey Jr. has one-liners in the Marvel-verse. Let's have Poe do a bunch of one-liners because it totally works on the Empire.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, guys. Only
Disney
KOTOR
thing,
2 is canon now.
But
I have decreed it.
You know what I
There
think
we
it
go.
was?
Like,
I've
honestly,
heard arguments that The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson's like, so I can fuck with Star Wars however I want right now, right? Okay.
And the
And decided
thing
to do it.
was, okay,
I
so
feel
The Last
like
Jedi
Rian
was supposed
Johnson-
to be a deconstruction of Star Wars, and he did
you were
a bad job at it. The most amazing thing about KOTOR 2 is the game director, whose name is escaping me right now, was like fuck, I hate Star Wars. Not like I hate Star Wars, but he's like, fuck, I hate how they reuse the same tropes and plot points every single fucking time. I'm going to do something different. In fact, I'm going to deconstruct and criticize all of these various plot points that get reused all and over the time.
And he did. That was BioWare. And he did a fantastic job.
We're gonna analyze the way the Force
BioWare.
works. We're gonna analyze the problems. We're gonna analyze the problems with the Jedi and the Sith. Holy shit, the Jedi are way too dogmatic. They create their own problems. The Sith are infinitely self-destructive. Everything they do will just end up in them destroying themselves. It's fun. It's a never-ending cycle. The Force is evil. Well, not evil, but it's harmful. Its existence is fucking harmful upon the galaxy.
You know what the biggest problem is?
What?
Is that people like me who grew up with the original trilogy long before episode 1. And like people like you got to remember that your guys' parents watched Star Wars. Like when it was new. Like the thing is that what people didn't understand, or what Disney didn't get about the sequels, is I'm not upset that they were trying to get a new cast, like they were trying to establish a new Jedi Order, the passing of the torch sort of idea. But you literally convinced Carrie Fisher, Billy D. Williams, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, all of them to come back.
And you didn't have them all stand together
and
in the same
you didn't have
movie.
them. You didn't have look. Listen, what we want as fans, we want to see those guys. We don't literally give a shit about the new people. We
Not
don't.
yet, at least. Give us a reason to, but right now we want to see the people who haven't been in a Star Wars movie for 40 fucking years.
I could have rewritten, Force Awakens was not that bad. You could work with Force Awakens and make Last Jedi good. And then make Rise of Skywalker better than it was. You could have worked with that. But they chose not to. They made the book, and I remember Mark Hamill even saying after Last Jedi came out, just like, I fundamentally disagree with every decision you made with my character.
Yeah.
That's what he quoted to say to Ryan Johnson. He retracted it because Disney wanted
the line I remember from Rise of Skywalker. This is the line that sums up Rise of Skywalker in general. Somehow, the Emperor has returned.
Yes. And the thing that really...
once again, could have been set up in The Last Jedi, but Ryan Johnson said, fuck you.
They were like, didn't J.J. Abrams say recently, we probably should have had a plan for that? Really? You don't fucking say.
No, he did. They had a plan. It's just that J.J. Abrams wasn't in charge of all 3 movies. He would have, he even went on record to say that The Last Jedi is completely different from everything he would have done.
Honestly, even the prequels had one set coherent vision. The sequels didn't.
Do you know what was so fucking weird about the original, the sequel trilogy? Is that it feels like Force Awakens sets up a bunch of stuff to happen, and then The Last Jedi is spent undoing all of that setup, and then The Rise of Skywalker comes along to undo all of the undoing that The Last Jedi did. So it
while
feels like
still trying to continue the plot.
We've gone in a circle.
Yeah. And the thing that really pisses me off is the people who say that, you hate The Last Jedi because it's subversive and different. Just because it's subversive doesn't mean it's a fork of art.
I have never met a person who said that.
You ordered a burger?
No. You know how it's different? They decided, hey, we're owned by Disney now. Let's make another MCU movie. Let's have one-liners and snarky comebacks. And let's not take things too seriously.
I think I mentioned this the last time we talked about Star Wars, but I was like, when the fuck did this turn into Last Jedi discourse? I remember not hearing people talk about The Last Jedi every 5 minutes anymore was such a liberating feeling. By the end of it, I was just so fucking tired of hearing about it.
You know what, though? I can praise The Last Jedi for a few things. That snow fox, that ice fox.
It's got really good art design. The visual effects are really good. I
would own a whole horde of them in my house if I had the option. I live in Canada, so it's fine. They'd survive.
I would want to buy some ice foxes.
I would buy some fucking ice foxes, absolutely. I've always wanted to own an Arctic fox. It's just illegal to do.
Crate was cool. The fucking red streaks on the white desert. That
Yeah.
was neat.
Oh, no. The most badass moment, though, was them launching blasts at Luke Skywalker.
That was cool, yeah.
And then he goes, do you think
Yeah,
because
fucking
Kylo Ren
brushes it
knows.
off of his shoulder. Yeah, it was good.
Ben
It was
Solo,
good.
yeah, he knows. He's like, keep firing. That's motherfucking Luke Skywalker. And I was like, okay, this dude knows who he's been dealing.
And you know
and then
what?
he just
the fucking score in that movie was good too.
oh, the
Like-
score. I mean, John Williams once again John Williams
There
been
you
doing
go.
John Williams for 50 years of movie making.
I
He's
can
amazing.
feel my life force draining the longer we talk about The Last Jedi. I'm gonna get back to the chat now.
Fair enough.
Sorry, man.
I don't blame
Damn, we're gonna
anybody
do
for that.
another 3-hour plus stream again. God damn. Last week we did like almost 3.5 hours. It's the longest stream I've ever done.
And surprisingly, I wasn't a part of most of that.
Yeah. Skin says Gravity Falls was my shit. Excellent. That's probably the best Disney show to come out in fucking years. Gravity Falls
Absolutely.
is fantastic.
Bill Cipher, one of the greatest villains ever.
Also, Star vs. the Forces was actually not that bad. It was actually pretty good. Never watched it, but I've heard some people praise it. Skin also says Power Rangers is so ridiculous yet so brilliant at the same time. True.
Agreed.
Let's see.
I remember Ninja Force was a fucking guinea pig sensei.
Yes.
Let's see. Some people are praising Makima really hard. I think they're over exaggerating a little bit. Saya has Meruem, Griffith, Friend, Kira, and Yahan above Makima. I know who 3 of those are. I agree on those 3.
Oh, do you know about Johan?
Oh, he misspelled it.
Yeah.
I've heard that Johan from Monster is apparently top 1 manga villain ever.
And one of the best villains ever. Hear it from me. That's my 3rd favorite manga. He's one of the greatest.
I've also heard, funnily enough, people praise, and I mean praise, maybe not to the same extent, probably because Ri's not as popular. Villains like fucking Aizen and Meruem, people insist that the villain in Ri is one of the best manga villains ever. I'm not sure I agree, but I really like him. So, I don't know. Then we get to all of Bob's comments. It could be possible that next chapter they're just like, well, I guess Buddha won, so the round's over, but Hajin's there, and Hajin's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, Buddha. So this is all post round 6. Buddha gets the point.
It's just Bob comments. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a Canadian's comments. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? It's a Canadian.
It's not only Canadian, it's a Quebecer comment.
Oh yeah, you're a
Yeah.
French Canadian. You
Oh,
don't
God.
count for shit.
Bob, you
I'm not
also asked
actually
who
French
would
Canadian,
fight
I'm
Thor?
just from
I
Quebec.
have no idea who would fight Thor. I assume someone we get introduced to later would fight Thor.
I think we're gonna see what we're gonna see. Not to interrupt, Miss, but I just think we're gonna see like a combination like what we saw before with like Loki and the 7 Lucky Gods versus like Sasaki and Okita and people who haven't even fought yet. And it's like,
Yeah.
hey, and remember his handler was there. One of the other members
Yeah,
of the Shinjingumi was there. Like,
Kando?
hey,
Kendo? I don't remember his name.
Uh,
Kondo?
yeah,
Something
I
like
always
that.
forget he's the 2nd commander. It's not Saito. Saito's the 3rd. Hajime no Saito is the 3rd, and Soji Okita is the 1st. So he's the 2nd guy.
So,
but either
from what
way,
I understood
he was gonna
is
fight.
that Kondo, whatever, is the commander of the Shinsengumi, and Akita is the 1st captain. So
Yeah,
it's
there's
basically
3
like he's everyone's boss. He's not in a squad.
Right, yeah. The guy that we see standing over, I'm sorry, is not the 2nd captain. He's literally the leader of Shinsengumi, but his warriors, the top 3 captains, are actually better swordsmen.
Yeah, he is Akita's handler. He's the one that's like,
Yeah, and
Akita, don't fight that guy. Don't.
Yeah, Okita
Don't
died
fucking do
from
that.
tuberculosis at like 17, but he was
Yeah.
so badass that he was a 1st tier commander at 14. Like, Jesus.
Sun Eater Grom asks, what are your top 10 Toriko fights? Oh god.
That's
Well,
fucking
I know
Jiro versus the world, first off.
Jiro versus the World, Do you mean him fighting the Nitro and Neo?
No, I just mean him, like, literally stopping the world.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have top 10 Toriko fights. I have, like, things that happen during fights that I could probably make a top 10 list out of.
I would argue that Starjun versus Toriko at the end of the Cooking Festival arc is probably one of the best fights.
Yeah, it's either
Absolutely.
that or Toriko versus Tommy Rod.
That's a great fight, too.
Another top tier fight.
Those are the two best fights.
Ichiryu versus Midora was
That
also
was
good.
too. Is it just me, or did, like, after, like, once you get into the gourmet world, most of the fights are totally different? Because it's basically just, we need to hold off one of the 8 kings until we can get the ingredient.
Well,
Yeah.
I would argue that the Bambina stuff, not a fight necessarily,
Yeah,
but that
it's
shit was
technically
awesome.
not even a fight. It's them playing with Bambina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the Gourmet World Saga doesn't have a lot of individual fights actually until the end.
Actually, in hindsight, Toriko doesn't have a lot of fights other than Toriko fighting people in each arc. Toriko's other fight with Starjun was really good too, when he was still in the GT robot. That was also a really good fight.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't recall any bad fights, honestly. Even
Yeah, I
the
don't think
worst
so.
ones were pretty
There were some
entertaining.
that were like, whatever. Like, they're good, but they're not super memorable.
I also really liked Tengo Bronchi versus Elg.
Oh yeah, that was good
Yep.
too. Tengu got a good fight out of nowhere. He's like the most side character to get a fight, and it was pretty good.
Yeah. I really like him as a character. Like, he's not super complex, but he's really enjoyable. And
He's
honestly,
a fun
very
guy. I like
likable.
him.
Exactly. He has a really cool design. He's like the 3rd best chef in the world. I love his abilities, and he's actually pretty realistically written. He's one of the few people who's like, oh, Midora, he doesn't deserve to have me deliver him food. He caused the entire gourmet, like, withdrawal from everybody. He ended the gourmet age. So, yeah, I think I really, really, really like Bronchi.
Yeah. Are there any other particularly interesting comments here? They reuse the same Death Star plot. No, you don't understand. It's not just the sequel trilogy. The big super weapon plot gets reused all the time in Star Wars.
Yes.
Every single time. And even if it's not a super weapon, we have to go and blow up the big control ship. We have to blow up a big thing in space.
KOTOR 2, Force
Oh,
Unleashed,
actually,
Force Unleashed
KOTOR 2, yeah, blow up Malachor.
Malachor
but even then,
5.
KOTOR 2 is like,
That's
we're going
kind
to
of the subversion on that.
Yeah, KOTOR 2,
No.
what's the subversion of that? Is like, oh, if I'm going
No,
to blow
what
up
I mean-
Malachor and kill everyone, like, blowing it
But
up
they
is part
they
of the
would
plan.
have but the point of the matter is that the whole story is based on the fact that they did have an ultimate weapon,
Right.
Malachor 5,
Yes,
at the Mass Shadow
KOTOR
Generator.
oh,
And
God.
then at
If
the
I could
end,
talk, I need to play KOTOR 2 again so I can talk about it for an entire stream. KOTOR 2 is about the aftermath of using a super weapon and how the aftermath is fucking awful.
and it's also basically, you know, the parallels, the Vietnam War.
Yeah, well, wasn't Star Wars
That's-
also always supposed to parallel that to some extent? I remember hearing some take about that.
A basis of Korea and Vietnam, yeah.
Yeah.
A combination of the two, because Korea basically went on for 3 years, and at the end of the day, all it did was kill 2 billion people, and nothing changed. It's still North Korea, it's still South Korea. They're still in the 38th parallel.
It's interesting because at the end of KOTOR 1, it's like you get the New Hope ending where you save the day or whatever. But then in KOTOR 2, it's like everything still sucks. Everything is worse than it was in the last game.
Because all of a sudden, because one of the reasons is because Revan left.
Yeah, Revan fucked off after the fact. Also, the
Which
economy
he
is
had a
fucked.
great reason. I
Because
played
he
the old Republic
remembered, oh shit,
game. He remembered the Sith, the
the
species.
true Sith Empire waiting in the dark. God
And
damn,
he was
did
like,
they hype up
holy
the Sith Empire in that game.
Yeah, and he was like, holy fuck. And you know what I hate? Like, this is why I hate the fact that they try to erase Legends, is that Revan was actually stronger than him. He could have won. And then it was just one of those situations, sort of like Ichiro versus Midora. It was like one of those options where it was like, I could win, but somebody else is going to die, or this is going to happen, and it's like, no, I don't want to do it. Like, there was circumstances around it, but he could have killed the Sith Emperor, and he didn't.
Very
It's like, Jesus.
unfortunate.
Well, remember what Kreia said. Kreia said, like, the exile might be looking like a wound in the Force. Revan was looking into the heart of the Force.
Yeah, which are both very... No, what was the
Cool
compare? Yeah,
concept?
it was. They were both equally cool, but the exiles, like in KOTOR 2, the Force is scary. The Force is a terrifying concept in KOTOR 2. Looking at Revan was like looking into the heart of the Force. Looking at you is like looking at the death of the Force.
Yep, and that's what no. Kreia said wound in the Force.
Oh,
but
I don't remember. I have to go and check the line again. I know she's like, you're a wound in the Force, but it's like you are a fucking black hole in the Force.
The Jedi Masters wanted to kill her because
it was like
listen,
you're
the death of the Force.
When you go and you meet up with all of the Jedi Masters on Dantooine, I have heard people praise that as the best scene in terms of writing and dialogue in any Star Wars thing ever, and I'm inclined to agree. It's the best conversation in Star Wars.
Dude, the score.
The best.
That's on my playlist. It's Jedi Enclave, track 26. It's so good.
You were afraid.
Yeah, you were afraid. Yeah. Oh man, it was so fucking good. Like, and it made so much sense. Like, just KOTOR 2 just had the right, like, Rian Johnson basically wanted to do.
He wanted to do a KOTOR 2 movie, but he's a fucking
fucked
idiot.
Up royally. Yeah, he made every mistake possible.
Like, KOTOR 2 could have been really obnoxious and pretentious, but instead it was exactly what it needed to be.
Which, to this day, when I found out that the protagonist is supposed to be female, I play as a female every time.
Yeah, I do that all the time too.
I can't play as a male anymore, knowing that I'm supposed to like get involved with Atten, you know, get Mikhail and all that stuff. Like I know that this is the right way the story's supposed to go. I'm supposed to be Kavar is supposed to be one of my Jedi Masters and stuff, and you have a conversation. The dialogue changes with them. Sion thinks that you're beautiful to him. Like, I hate you because you're beautiful to me sort of idea. And, like, there's just so much there when you're a female player. Yeah. And then in the Old Republic, they confirm it. Revan is supposed to be a guy.
Yeah, the exile whose name I can't remember. Mitra Surik. There it is. Just came back to me. Mitra Surik.
Mitra. Yeah.
Now you guys are getting me into this shit. I've mentioned this a couple times, but, like, in elementary and middle school, Star Wars was my shit. That was the thing. Before becoming a fucking weeb like I am now.
Yeah.
Star Wars was my thing.
We need to do Let's Plays of Knights of the Old Republic 2.
I'm gonna if I can. If my computer won't fucking explode while doing it, I'm gonna do a modded KOTOR 2 playthrough.
I always mod. I mod my game not to win. I mod my game for the aesthetics. Like, I give.
I mod my game to skip Paragus and have restored content.
You know, yeah, I do restored content, and you know what? I like skip. I don't mind Paragus. I hate Telos.
Telos is kind of boring, but
fucking hate Telos. But the Circuit Corporation.
Paragus is spooky. I remember playing like KOTOR 2 the first time, and I'm like, fuck, this is. I'm on edge.
Harbinger. Dude, the Harbinger, that shit was fucking scary.
There's something so eerie about being on a fucking mining station where, like, everyone else except for, like, these two people and a couple droids are dead. Everyone's fucking dead.
And then you slowly go through it and you see the, like, recordings of the droids killing people and you're, like, murder investigating and stuff. It's a drama. It's so outside the box. And then you get on the Harbinger and it's an empty fucking ship. It's like, wait, what the You don't see dead bodies. You're like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, that shit was freaky, and then we get to Telos, and it's like, who the fuck cares?
Oh, KOTOR 2 is so good. Oh,
I know.
The best thing about the best
parts of it are really good, that it makes you not mind the less good parts so much.
The highlights of KOTOR 2 are so good that I don't mind the bad parts.
Like, I don't really know a bad part.
There were some parts, I guess, without content restoration. Listen, ever since discovering it, I only play with restored content. Fuck the base game. Play with restored content.
Yeah. Misc, just so you know, I played it on PC when it came out. Oh. There was no such thing as restored. Ooh. And you know what? I still thought it was a good fucking game.
Yeah,
You know,
like I think before
I just was
knowing
like,
about
what's the-
actually,
Yeah,
you know what was weird is before knowing about restored content, I didn't get No, you know what it was? I think the first time I played KOTOR 2, I didn't get it. Like I really wasn't paying enough attention to the plot or anything, or to the
There's
writing.
a lot there, yeah.
I remember finding this Philosophy of Kreia video that's like 2 hours long. It's the best Star Wars video on the internet. It's amazing. That guy understands everything in that game perfectly. The best... No, I don't know if the best thing, but like one of the great things about Kreia is when you get to the Jedi Enclave on Dantooine. If you went dark side and you killed all the Jedi Masters, you would expect, because when you go the light side path, Kreia ends up killing them anyway. But when you kill all the Jedi Masters, Kreia's like, well, what did you gain from this? Did you learn anything? No? You fucking idiot. That's what I wanted you to do. I wanted you to learn how to do something. I wanted these guys to see that they were wrong, not to just kill them. I mean, yeah,
Because-
their teachings were
and
dangerous, and I wanted to put a stop to them, but I wanted them to see how they were wrong, not to just kill them. That didn't prove anything. You have failed me completely and utterly.
Yep. She is actually the first. She doesn't want you. She is actually the first, as far as I'm concerned, canon fucking introduction of a true gray Jedi, because you can't change her alignment for the entire game. She's been a Jedi Master. She trained Revan himself. She was a Sith Lord. Fell from grace from there, and she realizes that neither one is the right path. You need a little bit of both. You need anarchy.
Remember,
you need a little bit.
kids, Kreia is the only character where you can use the term Grey Jedi. Even then, I don't think it very accurately describes her.
No, but it's the only, like, she's the one. When Palpatine described the dogmatic narrow view of the Jedi, you must embrace a larger view of the Force. That basically summarizes what Kreia was trying to do.
Yeah, and Kreia's like, the Force sucks. This thing is fucking terrible.
Yeah, she hates. What she hates is the controlling aspect. She sees the Force like a god that's puppeteering us.
Yeah, and Kreia's like, this should not exist. There should not be a god that controls everything that happens.
And she was so accurate, because remember when she said, like, there were so many references to, like, the prequels movies and stuff. It's like, the Mandalorians, yes, they will they will dwindle to the point that
that's
there was
when she's
one
looking into the future at the end, and that's when she basically tells you what's the result of your decisions in this game.
Yeah, and exactly, and she foretells that Jango Fett dies.
Yeah,
you know, she foretells like the Mandalorians are dead.
Yeah, it's like the Mandalorians are gonna die. Like, they're fucked.
Yeah. Because the Mandalorians that we see in, like, The Mandalorian, they're not real Mandalorians. Sort of like Sith, like Palpatine and Vader aren't Sith.
Yeah, they're not the true Sith. The true Sith are gone. They're fucked. They've been deleted from existence.
They're an alien race. They're a species, not just like.
And by the time of the movies, they're extinct. They're gone.
Yeah, they're fucking gone. So it's the same with the Mandalorians. In the Mandalorian, none of them are Mandalorians.
How many people are interested in our Star Wars lore stream? Only 4. Well, whatever. I'm having a good time right now. I don't care.
There you go. It's Star Wars time, people. Star Wars is fantastic. It's the greatest movies ever fucking made. And I'm the guy who's watched literally all the classics. So.
Okay, we have a few comments from Skin. Favorite Star Wars character? If you couldn't tell, it's Kreia. The best written character in all of Star Wars. That's like the philosopher character. And because she's a video game character, you can actually spend whole fucking hours getting into her philosophy. The highlight of KOTOR 2 is talking to Kreia and unlocking dialogue options. That's the best part of KOTOR 2.
I'm gonna go with Yoda for me.
So he also says, I was already hella hooked to Star Wars, but with KOTOR 2, it elevated my love for Star Wars to another level. It's the best. There's next to nothing in Star Wars, I think, that has better, like at the very least, a better writing quality than KOTOR 2. It's the best Star Wars thing from that perspective. It's my favorite Star Wars thing, full stop. I like it more than any of the movies or the books or the TV shows. It is my favorite piece of Star Wars media, full stop.
Wow. I respect that.
Also, can we talk about the soundtrack? Yo, the soundtrack's great. It's spooky when it needs to be. Some of the KOTOR 2 themes are fucking creepy.
The KOTOR, once again, the Jedi Enclave, when Dantooine's destroyed, and the whole Kreia moment you were talking about, I still have that on my fucking playlist. Listen,
folks, we're doing a KOTOR 2 playthrough. If my computer doesn't fucking explode from using OBS and having a fucking game open, we're doing a KOTOR 2 playthrough. I don't give a shit.
You actually, Miss, you saw that, well, maybe, were you joined when I did my KOTOR playthrough?
I think I may have checked out like 1 or 2 episodes way back. How long ago was that?
I don't think it wasn't this year. It was last year. Because I did it for May the 5th. May the 4th be with you.
I may have checked out like 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah, but I did KOTOR, and then I said I was going to do KOTOR 2 next year, but I really got behind on a lot of other shit, so I said next year, guys, next year. So next May, that's when I'm doing KOTOR. Or KOTOR 2, I should say.
Oh,
or
God,
maybe I'll
I'm
just
excited,
fucking
but
start.
Fuck, I'm getting excited for it right before going on vacation. Maybe I'll.
You know what?
Record something to upload ahead of time.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll just fucking start playing it again, anyways.
Yeah, who knows? I don't give a shit. I don't work on a schedule.
I own the original discs, man. I still got from 2004. I still got that shit.
Shit, I'm gonna download KOTOR 2 on here. Fuck it. Fuck it. I already own it on Steam, but I'm gonna download it.
I remember like so many mods, and I played with so many mods and shit. But the thing is that when I play a game with mods, I do it for aesthetic purposes.
Yeah.
Not for cheating. Like I literally like my mods are like getting Atten Rand a beer.
Listen, people.
I think, you know.
If I do the KOTOR 2 playthrough, I'm gonna turn off some of the cheats, and we'll decide whether or not I skip Paragus. We'll do a vote, because I don't. For me, Paragus is probably one of the less interesting parts of the game. Like, I just want to get to the other stuff.
Fair enough. You know what? Hey, Misc, if you're planning on doing one, and I'm planning on doing one, we should do them, like, simultaneously. And if you want to skip Paragus, then I'll just play catch-up. And we'll try to, like, sort of, like, do planets the same week.
That sounds like an interesting idea. Once again, this is assuming we don't have a repeat of when I attempted a reaction stream. I mean, I'll probably have Chrome closed, but I don't know. That's probably not as...
Oh, actually, even on my computer, which is a $3,000 machine I built myself, it still had problems playing KOTOR because it's such an old game. While recording and while, without frame rate.
Well, shit. I don't think... Okay. In other news, other gaming stuff, fine. Maybe KOTOR 2's not gonna happen. I'll just fucking play through the game when I'm on vacation, and we'll do a stream. We'll just talk about KOTOR 2, okay? But when I get back from vacation, I should have my PS5 by then. Ideally, assuming there are no external factors. And when I get it, the first thing I'm getting is Demon's Souls, because I've been waiting since they announced the Demon's Souls remake to fucking play Demon's Souls. So I'm going to do that. The PS5 has a recording function. Ideally, the mic quality's not shit. I can edit out any background noise, because Lord knows there's going to be fucking background shit going on most of the time I'd be recording there. And we're going to do some fucking Demon's Souls videos. Because I don't know shit about the Demon's Souls lore. I know like a few things. I know what all the bosses are. I know the areas. I don't know the lore. I want to know Demon's Souls lore. So I'm going to play Demon's Souls and we're going to find out the lore. And I'm ideally going to do videos of it. So that will be, hopefully, a new thing will be starting in August.
That's exciting as fuck.
Yeah, and since it's a PS5, I don't have to fucking worry about PC specs or anything. Like, it's made to record it. There are features on the PS5, so no problems. I've just heard someone said that they have, like, a built-in spoiler filter or some shit. I assume I can turn that off. Like, for recordings, it'll block out spoilers or something.
I'm not actually sure if you can do that with PlayStation stuff. Maybe they learned from the PS4. But I remember they had after a certain point, the machine doesn't want to record stuff that could be spoilers.
Yeah, they had like it wouldn't let you record certain parts because it was a spoiler tag or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So, ideally, I don't have to worry
People
about
still
that.
did it.
And, we'll do a fucking Demon Souls playthrough.
That'd be pretty cool. I couldn't get very far in Demon Souls. I found it very tedious.
I love me some Souls games. It's been 4 years since Dark Souls 3. It's been 2 years since Sekiro. I need a new Souls game, especially to sate my hunger until Elden Ring comes out.
I guess I just gotta get good.
It's true. As the game journalists fail to learn, you just have to get good at Dark Souls.
Yeah, you just gotta get good.
You just have to learn to play the fucking game. That's the requirement. Learn the game's rules and you'll do fine. When I play Souls now, the difficulty's not even something I think about.
No, but like I'll just say, and it's something I've said to people before. It's not that I don't think that I could play a Dark Souls game if I had the time to. Well, no, it's not that it's not my thing. It's that I don't have the time to invest like 40 hours to learn a game.
Ah, I see.
Like, you know, I haven't been gaming for almost 2 years because I barely have time with YouTube and taking care of the house and doing other work and other shit. So when I want to sit down and play a game, I want to fucking enjoy it. It's like putting on a movie for, you know, an hour. I don't need a learning curve where all I'm going to do is get frustrated. You know, like, so I need a game that has a decent learning curve for me if I'm going to start a new game with my time schedule. Like, don't get me wrong. If I had 1 week where I had 0 on my plate, nothing to do, videos already scheduled on YouTube, I could probably sit down and be a master of Dark Souls 1 by the end of the week.
Hell yeah.
But I don't have that type of time.
Yeah.
So my patience level is so thin playing the Souls games.
I get you.
But I don't think I don't think they're bad games. I've never been able to play them. I played Lords of the Fallen, which is a really Souls copy game, and it was terrible.
Not good at all.
No, I platinumed it, but I hated it. I hated it every minute.
Yeah.
Let's see. Skin says the only thing that rivals KOTOR 2 is Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, that's about it. That's about it. Mr. Krause asks, you into Boruto, my man? Fuck no. I haven't even read or watched Naruto. I don't give a shit about Boruto. Maybe, listen, if I ever
I
read
believe
Naruto,
I pointed this
I'm not
out
fucking touching
before
Naruto.
to some people on the server, but Boruto has something that I'm just like, wait, why? What the fuck?
Really now?
Which is characters going to fucking Orochimaru and being like, hey, can we have your autograph? Oh man, you're so cool. Orochimaru.
Great villain.
One of the worst criminals in Naruto history. Gets treated like, oh man, he's kind of cool.
Cool guy. I mean, is he a cool guy? He sounds cool.
He's not cool is the wrong word.
Uh-oh.
He's
Impressive?
a great villain.
We're
I
like,
mean,
wow,
he's not.
you have really good writing and motivation. Please, can I have your autograph? Alright, now this is the longest stream, or it's gonna be by the time we're done with it. Okay, yeah, there you go. Listen, I'm starting One Piece now. I'm getting on to my second of the big 3. Maybe one day I'll read or watch Naruto. I feel less and less inclined to read it or watch it every time I interact with its fans on the internet, so maybe not, but never say never.
There is some good stuff to it.
I would argue you should read it, not watch it. There's so much filler in Naruto.
Well, with the Bleach anime, I just skipped the filler to a certain point where I was like, this just takes too long, so I read the manga.
There is one filler episode in Naruto you would have to watch, though.
Why? Because it's good
Simply
or because
put-
it's important?
It's stupid funny. It's the
Yeah.
one where with the mask.
Okay.
I thought you were going to talk about the ostrich.
I keep
Yeah,
forgetting
Why
about
are we up to 10
I
viewers
remember watching
now?
that
We were so
video.
low for a while. Now that we're towards the end
And
of the
we
stream,
were-
is it because we
yeah.
said the words
Oh.
Naruto? Now everyone's
I
watching
think
again.
so. Just keep saying ASMR, ASMR, ASMR.
Yeah, people
There
have
we go.
suggested.
Tomorrow.
Who suggested I do ASMR? Someone suggested I do ASMR. Well, I'm not doing. I
Fine.
can't do mukbang because I'm not showing my face. I just don't feel comfortable showing my face on the internet. It sounds like a bad idea. It'd be really weird to like meet someone in person and they're like, "Holy shit, you're Misc content." Like I'm just minding my own fucking business and I run into someone who recognizes me. Also, if I do anything really stupid at any point, it's really bad to have your face connected to that. Remember, kids, everything you do on the internet stays on the internet. So,
Well,
Yeah.
thanks for warning me 10 years down the road,
Yeah.
man. Appreciate it.
you're welcome. That was my concern. Also, I have nowhere good to do like camera recordings. I don't have very impressive backgrounds. I don't like showing off personal belongings unless they're cool. And I don't have many of those. So, yeah, unless I had like a fucking recording studio or something, I wouldn't want to do face cam.
I just don't really give a fuck.
Yeah, you don't give a shit. Which I
I just
respect
don't.
on a personal level.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm already married. Like,
Tapping
whoa, who am I
noises.
trying?
Artist, do you hear
Like the-
tapping noises? That I don't. Oh, that may be something going on in someone else's background.
It's not in my background. I'm sitting here playing Skyrim.
Very nice.
Hmm.
Are you
Talking to Ayla the
okay, you're
Hunt.
doing your Nord Khajiit character right now, right?
Yes, actually, I am, and I have a journal right now, man. It's got fucking how many pages did I write? Holy shit! I've written 29 pages.
For a backstory or notes on what's happening?
No notes on what's happening.
Fuck,
I-
I need
I-
to do a Skyrim playthrough like that. Thank God I have Skyrim on my Switch. I can do that while I'm on
It's
vacation.
it's so good. It makes
Are
me
you
happy, man.
writing
Because
Are you writing the journal in person, or do you have that mod?
no. I have a physical journal beside me right now with a pen. I
Bob,
write it
if
as I do things. I write down like what's happened, and then I write it in a context. Like the first, like my character is very scared of his Thum. He's scared of being Dragonborn. He doesn't understand the destiny. He doesn't understand the power of shout. He's very scared of it. So I actually did this. I went up to
he's
High
suggesting
Hrothgar.
types of ASMR. What if someone recognizes my voice? I don't know. That'd be kind of weird. That'd be fucking bizarre if like one of my relatives watched one of my videos and was like, "What the fuck is that?" I'm not revealing my name on here. We'll say, is that Misc? Not Misc. That'll be the censor. That'd be very strange. If someone
Mhm.
recognized me by my voice, I'd be like, well, shit, don't record me. You don't have my consent to do that. But it'd be whatever. Listen, we're gonna do MiscCon at some point. We're gonna listen. 50,000 subs. We'll do MiscCon. I'm sure like 2 of you will show up. It'll be Clover and one of my friends. None of you will show
Oh,
up.
boy.
I'm certain of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Koji will find a way.
Koji may find a way. Koji will swim all the way here from Puerto Rico.
Yeah, Koji's gonna swim.
Koji will
These are
go
just
at fucking Cuban Exile
OG
style.
magic.
He'll fucking sail here on like a garage door to meet me in person. I don't doubt it. No, yeah.
I honestly imagine Koji speaking Elvish to some gnomes to convince them to help him.
Oh right,
Roll,
shit. If only
garage
Koji were
door.
here. Next time we need to get Koji in a VC with Griever so he can speak Elvish. So we were playing D&D one time, and I think like characters speaking Elvish came up or something, because a lot of times in D&D you have like written. You either have characters that only speak a certain language, or you'll have something written in a certain language. So I was like, Koji, does your character speak Elvish? And then Koji started fucking speaking Elvish. like.
I wonder
for
which,
real.
and I'm still wondering which Elvish was he speaking.
Yeah, that's
Sundarian
why.
Elvish?
That's why I
Was
want
he
to know.
speaking?
That's why I want him in here.
Yeah, like I'm not very fluent in Elvish myself. I just know the different dialects of Elvish. So I was just curious. Like, I probably wouldn't be able to converse with them or anything. I just want to know, like, what are you speaking Sundarian? Are you speaking Dwellian? Are you speaking? What are you speaking? You know.
Is this shit you learn in the Silmarillion, or is this actually in the Lord of the Rings books?
It's actually at the back of Return of the King. It's in the appendices.
Oh,
But
right, they have those. God damn.
yeah, the actually half of the Return of the King, the book is literally the appendices.
Half of it is appendices? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
the book is actually pretty short. The book is half of what it is.
That's hilarious.
He said
So
manga.
half of the book is just explaining what various
Well,
things
put
are.
it to this way: at the end of the Two Towers, they're already at Gondor.
Oh yeah. If I remember,
And
I remember seeing the
they-
end of Two Towers. They're already at fucking what's the dead city? Minas Morgul. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, they already went through that. Shelob
Oh,
and all that
Shelob
shit
already
happened.
took Frodo. You see,
At-
it's been
at
forever
the-
since I
yeah,
looked at that.
Yeah, the Two Towers ends with them at Cirith Ungol, where Frodo after the Shelob shit, and Frodo is taken.
Having seen
That's-
the movies first, that's so weird from a pacing perspective.
But from a pacing perspective, they did a fantastic job doing it in the movies, because otherwise, if you were to do them properly, the Return of the King would never show Frodo and Sam.
True.
Like, it would show them at the end. That's it. Because
Yeah.
that's all you have. Because from a book perspective, that's why they took out that Mouth of Sauron scene in the extended edition, even though it's a great scene.
Mhm.
Because we knew, in the movies, we knew that Frodo and Sam were okay. But in the books, we didn't know that. Frodo was taken by the enemy. We assume he has the ring at the end of the Two Towers. We have zero confidence that Sam has done shit. We think that Frodo and the ring are now in Sauron's hands. So when the Mouth of Sauron comes out in the Return of the King and goes, "Here's the mithril shirt. Hey, bitch, we got him. You're fucked. You're done." We're like, holy shit. In the book, we're like, what the fuck? So Aragorn, like, in the movie, it's like cool because we understand where Aragorn's coming from. They don't know, but literally, as a reader and as a character, we don't fucking know. We think that, yeah, Sauron's got the one ring. Life's over. And Aragorn still goes, yeah, we're going to charge anyways.
Get the fuck out of here. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
We're gonna fucking fight you anyway. I don't give a shit. Maybe it's just because of the
Exactly.
time of night, but the idea of fucking Lord of the Rings characters talking like that is way too funny to me right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Knowing how Tolkien
like,
writes dialogue.
Aragorn has some, like, Aragorn, even in the movie, he has some great lines, like or like the Mouth of Sauron. Oh, who's these? Isildur's heir. It takes more to make a king than a broken elvish blade
And then he
slice.
cuts his head off.
And then Gimli, that concludes negotiations.
Yeah, good shit.
It's like, and he's like, I cut your fucking head off, asshole, and I don't believe it. I will.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Tolkien's son really not like the movies because of the direction they went with them?
Mm-mm. Christopher Tolkien is totally fine with them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That
I
was-
thought I remember hearing something about how he didn't like
It was-
movies, he
it
didn't
was-
like action movies.
It was the same thing. It was just one of those things to build, like, animosity. You know, the
Oh, so
the
it was
internet.
bullshit. It was made up.
yeah, it was made up bullshit. It was nothing. Christopher Tolkien didn't like. He didn't like certain aspects that they did, but he did praise. Like, he had a whole interview, right?
Mm-hmm.
5 paragraphs. They took one line where he said, "I don't like what they did here," but the rest of the paragraph he praises Peter Jackson.
Well, there you go. I thought for a while. Well, shit. Now I'm even more confident in those movies as an adaptation.
Those movies are actually. It took my father a long time because I grew up on The Hobbit. My dad read The Hobbit like I did not grow up with like small like little critter books. My dad read me The Hobbit when I was 3. So I was reading Lord of the Rings by the time I was 5 myself. So that's why I'm good at the English language, I guess. But I was reading that shit, and it was sort of like this is the thing. And when Lord of the Rings came out, it was sort of like, I don't know about watching it, you know, because I have this whole idea in my mind, right? Yeah. And I knew that the differences happened. And my dad, actually, he would take me to Star Wars and stuff. He never went to a Lord of the Rings film with me. He never would. And then when the extended editions came out, we finally watched it. We actually watched Return of the King on VHS, which was 2 tapes back then.
Wow.
We watched Return. I still own it. I have I have the Lord of the Rings on VHS, and we watched Return of the King, and he went, okay, all right, and then we now, like, sometimes around like Easter or whatever, when we have a long weekend, we'll just sit down and put the Blu-ray extended edition in, and we'll just sit back and watch it. And Mom will be like, "You guys want to eat?" "No, we're good." And we're just sitting there like for 7 hours just watching Lord of the Rings. It's a good time.
Very good use of time.
I bet. Man. I think I read The Hobbit in like 3rd or 4th grade. I was probably too fucking young to read that. But I read it. I finished the whole fucking thing.
That's really good. Like my teachers were mad at me, actually, when I was in junior high and elementary, because I'd be like, hey, I like, they'd be like, okay, read, like, this book report's going to take you a month, and I would read the book in a day.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, what are you going to do? And I remember my dad had to come down when I was in 5th grade. My dad had to come and talk to my teacher and be like, it's like, what do you want me to do? That, like,
what did they think you fucking cheated on it or something?
Yeah, like he said my kid can read 326 pages in 2 days. Like, why? Like, what am I gonna do? Punish him for it?
What was the most I ever read of a book in a few days? Because I remember I read in my 3rd grade in my elementary school, they had like this system where if you read a book that they had at the library, the book had a set amount of points that it was worth based on its length and I think the reading level required for it.
Oh boy, I remember that shit.
So that's just a Florida thing. And after getting a certain amount of points, you would get a t-shirt, and then after getting more points, you would get like little patches to put on it. I never got as many as I got in 3rd grade. I got the t-shirt, and then I got like 5 fucking patches for it. I may accidentally be doxing myself if no other Florida elementary school did this. I have no idea. But I wanted to get some fucking points. And I was only there for like the second half of the year. So I got more fucking points than anyone else in my whole class. I read all of the Harry Potter books over a period of like 4 or 5 months. In 3rd grade.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I did in junior high, man. All I did was I was like, hey, I'll read the whole Harry Potter series. They're like, you can't do that. I'm like, fuck me, yes, I can.
Now, I'm trying to remember which one I read the quickest. I'm not sure, because I know with Order of the Phoenix, it was the biggest one. So I was like, oh, shit. That's going to take me weeks if I do the math on how many pages I do a day. And then I think I read it in, like, under a week.
Did you guys? I just have a quick question because you mentioned Order of the Phoenix. Does anybody knows what a Zellers is?
I don't recall what that is.
It's basically Walmart before Walmart.
What the fuck?
It's before Target. It's before Walmart. It's called Zellers. It's a Canadian. I think it's only a Canadian only thing. I'm not sure. But when I was a kid, because I remember buying Order of the Phoenix was $34 Canadian. I remember when it came out, and I was big into Harry Potter. And my parents, of course, they were very poor, and I've always been from a poor family. So we like when they bought me books, it was like, holy shit, right? And I remember seeing this huge display at a Zellers. We walked into a Zellers store, shopping or whatever, and there was the new Harry Potter book, and I couldn't read it. I wasn't allowed to read it, and I was like, fuck. And then I remember graduating, whatever year that was. I think it was like, I don't know if it was 6th grade, 7th grade. I don't remember the year, but and my grandmother had bought it, and I still have that copy where she wrote a huge note in that, like I don't know if you guys ever had this, but like when somebody would buy you a book, they'd write a note in the inside hardcover, like on the blank page, and in the front, and they'd say like, hey, to you, to Misc band, whoever, and this is like, you know, I hope you really enjoy the book, blah, 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 love your grandmother, love your aunt, love whatever, X. I still have those copies, and I remember they're not back at like when the book came out, but it, like, you know what I mean? Like that shit, like when you say things like Order of the Phoenix, I'm like, I remember when that book came out, and I was so disappointed I couldn't read it right away, but then I got it 2 months later, you know, when I passed 5th grade or 6th grade or whatever it was.
Man, it's funny. I remember watching some old videos. I don't know if this was Internet Historian, talking about like when Harry Potter books came out, like when fucking the Deathly Hallows came out, there was like a whole thing with people on the internet spoiling people on like.
It was Internet Historian.
It was like this whole big fucking thing. It was like when a fucking Avengers movie comes out.
You guys know Frostwire, right? Like the torrent thing?
That sounds vaguely familiar.
Okay, you guys know LimeWire? Maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. This was before both of those. It was called Kaza. And that's where we got our Yu-Gi-Oh! Episodes way back in the day. And the Half-Blood Prince was released, but it was a total fan fiction. But it was written so fucking well that everybody believed it.
Oh my god.
The Half-Blood Prince was there. It was downloaded.
Are
it was
you
downloaded
fucking
like
kidding me?
Everybody believed it because it was released 6 months before the actual book came out. But it was a fan fiction. But it was actually, and honestly, I think I liked the direction of that one. I don't remember, but I just remember that it was really fucking good. And it was written, and it was like, oh, and then it ended at like chapter 34, and it was like, well, it's not a finished book yet, and that was everybody's excuse. But it was like, no, it's just a fan fiction.
What was
like?
I remember the different opinions on the movies and the books. If I remember right, everyone thought that Order of the Phoenix was the best movie and that Half-Blood Prince was the worst of the movies, but for the books it was reversed. Or at least a lot of people thought Order of the Phoenix was the worst of the books. I don't remember ever thinking.
I don't know. I liked all the books, and honestly,
yeah, me
the
too,
movies.
for the most part. I mean, I think for me, Half-Blood Prince is like the weakest part of the series. I just remember not being super interested in most of it.
I liked it because it was Severus Snape's backstory, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, like Half-Blood Prince wasn't bad. I don't know. See, I'll tell you what the worst movie is. The worst movie, Goblet of Fire.
I have heard
Worst
that.
one.
I have heard many people say that.
Worst one. I'll tell you why. Because everyone decided, okay, long hair is in, which you guys know I know a little bit of something
we
about
gave
long
Harry
hair.
Potter long hair for some fucking reason.
Yeah, and Ron Weasley and the Weasley twins and every male character they could find.
What
it's
year was this?
It was, I don't know, but it was like, oh, long hair's the trend. Jonas Brothers were new or something. I don't fucking know. But anyways, like long hair was the trend, so they made sure that all the main cast.
2005 was fucking long hair a thing in 2005. Everyone's like,
It sort of was. 'Cause I was,
there you go.
I was in 8th grade in 2005, or if it was after that, it was grade 8 or 9, because I graduated in 2009. So yeah, so around there, 8 or 9, yeah, long hair was the thing. I remember that, unfortunately. I do remember that. But the problem is that they did that thing, and not only that, they gave the poor bastard, I forget his name offhand, but the new guy who replaced Dumbledore, who did not do a bad job in Prisoner of Azkaban, but the problem is they made him seem weak. Like, they gave him this persona that was totally out there in the books. Me and my brother still make fun of this one scene. You guys might remember it from the movie. It's like when they find out that Harry Potter's in the Triwizard Tournament or whatever. And then he's down in the champion room and, Harry, did you put your name into the Goblet of Fire? No, sir. Yeah, you didn't ask one of the other older students to do it for you? Yeah, absolutely sure. You know, like, that's not Dumbledore at all. And that wasn't the fault of the actor. Fantastic actor. I forget his name. He's been in a million things. He's a great actor.
The direction.
But, yeah, the direction. It's like, because we had Richard Harris do a fantastic job in Sorcerer's Stone or Philosopher's Stone and Chamber of Secrets, and then of course he died, so you can't replace that. But the fact of the matter is that we always saw him as this almost bumbling headmaster who didn't really know what was going on. He seemed weak. He seemed frail. Like in the books, Dumbledore is this like embodiment. Like the reason that Voldemort is not around is because this motherfucker is standing here. This guy is the reason the school is safe, because Voldemort does not want to fuck with him. And that's the impression we got through the entire movies. It was, or in the books, it was stated throughout 7 books. Nobody wants to fuck with Dumbledore. But in the movies, we got that for 2 movies. And then after that, he seemed like this, you know, he sort of came into his own in like Order of the Phoenix, especially with the fight between him and Voldemort. And then in Half-Blood Prince, he showed up again. But Goblet of Fire, it did Dumbledore so fucking dirty that me and my brother still to this day, like once in a while, I'll be at work with him and I'll be like, Harry, and my brother will go, did you put your name into the Goblet of Fire? You know, like, because it's so fucking stupid and over the top. It's just like, oh no, there was better takes. There were so many better takes.
Alright, damn, we're getting real late into this shit now.
I'm gonna have to go because I have work tomorrow.
Alright, last comment.
Me too,
we're
actually.
Be done. Artist says, oh yeah, Misc, you gonna do One Piece rambles like the Bleach arc ones, or are you just gonna talk about the arcs in stream? I think I'm just gonna talk about it in stream. I don't really feel like doing One Piece videos until I catch up, to be honest. I just kinda wanna enjoy it. I don't wanna feel like I have a fucking quota to get to when reading through it. So I'm just gonna read it at my own pace. And it won't get any dedicated videos maybe until after I'm done with it. I'll talk about what I've read through on stream. That'll be about it, I think.
Good idea.
Yep.
So, first of all, we're going to be ending the stream now. We've gone on for almost 4 fucking hours. This is now our longest stream by a lot.
That's amazing.
This was a lot of fun. The last hour to hour and a half is probably the most fun I've had on any of these streams. The conversation topics and stuff were exceptionally enjoyable. So I'd say this was pretty great to have as the last stream for about 3 weeks. I'm not going to be able to stream for about 3 weeks. Just because of vacation, where I'm going to be after I get back from vacation. I'm not going to have a good opportunity to do a stream. So this is going to be the last one for a little bit. And it was pretty fucking good for a last stream for a little while. So, thank you all, everyone who's here in the voice chat tonight. I greatly appreciate you being here and your contributions to our discussions.
Hey, no problem. Happy to help.
Love to be here.
So, I mean, any of you guys want to plug something? I know, Griever, you have your channel.
Yeah, plug.
Yeah,
And
you
did I
guys can
mention
find
plug?
Griever's channel on the channel page on my channel.
There you go. That's good enough.
Tenor, you got anything?
I guess I could just recommend people to read Magi because I'm rereading the series and trying to finish it. I'm on chapter 214. Like, that's the only thing I have to say, honestly.
Nice. Bob, do you have any businesses you would like to promote?
No, but I could just say, if you haven't watched Trigun, do it. Do it now. I don't
Trigun's
care if you need
amazing.
sleep. Just watch Trigun.
That's a good recommendation.
And Band, would you like to plug your comic? Or anything else? Oh god, we can't hear him. Fuck.
I got pretty good.
Band, would you like to type out a message for us? I'll convey it to the audience.
Hello.
Hello, Band. Any final words you'd like to give as we part with our fine... how many people are still here? 5 viewers? 4 viewers?
Have a good night, I guess.
Nice. Well, thank you. I'm sure they appreciate it. Alright, people. Well, that's all for tonight. Thank you all for coming. Until next time, I'll see you guys around. Take care.
Night.
Nice.
Good night, everybody.
And we
Nice.
ended it